Futures pointing to a solidly higher open coming up once again this morning, looking to extend the post-Fed rally that we got yesterday late in the day. The Fed coming out delivering its latest decision on interest rates, obviously leaving it unchanged. It was the accompanying statement, though, that gave the market a boost yesterday, and a very aggressive outlook and forecast for interest rates going forward over the next couple of years. We'll discuss where things stand at this point, where we could end up even at the end of today. We got the Bank of England out with its latest decision on interest rates this morning. They actually raised interest rates and also cut back their spending. Same story for the EU. The Central Bank of Europe did not cut or did not increase interest rates. They left unchanged, but also reduced their spending on bonds going forward. The announcement came, as I said yesterday, with an aggressive 3-year outlook for interest rates in North America and the U.S. Specifically, the Dow up 1.08% at the end of the day yesterday, 1.6 for the S&P. It was the NASDAQ, though. Huge moves in tech names. We'll discuss a few here. Ends the day up more than 2% yesterday. We got the weekly jobless claims up there at 8:30. Looks like up about 18,000, 206,000 versus 195 expected. Adobe out this morning with earnings down sharply about 6%. We'll talk about Apple, AMD, and more news for Ford making moves to the upside as well. It's Thursday, December 16th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Look at how things are shaping up at this point. You can see 0.7 for the S&P, about 0.6 for the NASDAQ, about 0.6 for the Dow there as well. Back in positive territory coming off those impressive moves yesterday. Everything else relatively unchanged at this point right across the board. To kick things off, going to be an interesting day here again. As we mentioned, we've got both the Bank of England and the EU interest rates decision in the pre-market here. Bank of England cutting, or increasing, I should say, interest rates, not cutting, and the EU leaving unchanged, but both reducing their bond purchases going forward. So a little bit of a pullback in the S&P futures when those decisions were announced. Otherwise, though, still nicely positive here to kick things off, guys.
Yeah, well, nothing like the gains you saw in the afternoon yesterday in direct response to the Fed announcement. But here we are. Adobe did come out this morning, and obviously guidance still matters, right? You had the cloud space that got punked with a bunch of downgrades a few sessions ago, and then their 2022 guidance is going to be the story. So sometimes you have to look past gigantic earnings and revenue numbers, and the market's going to be talking about the future, not necessarily the past. And that's why you're seeing Adobe get beat up. Now down 7.5%. So that's moving in the wrong direction. Tesla, it was right at that 1,000 mark. And for the rolling records, you got to do better than say I double dog dare you to short Tesla. So I don't know how you do better dog. No, triple dog doesn't work either, Rob. But in all seriousness, there's going to be a lot to watch that's moving around today. I was just going through some. I was like, do I day trade Shopify today? There's a setup on that stock, which I love, but so much to look at. It's all about narrowing it down. That's why we got the watch list. That's why we're going to prepare you for the markets, because I think after that rally and where some of these names are in terms of their daily charts, there's just going to be a lot of levels that we're going to like to buy. I don't think I've looked at Shopify in the morning for a day trade. I can't even remember the last time, and I was just, that actually sets up pretty good too. So it should be a fun one here today, Sean. What a Thursday this should be.
It's going to be a great day. It was a great day yesterday, and thank you for watching. And we just tweeted out here something kind of funny. Well, not funny. I don't know if you think it's funny or not, but it's the bull again. And we're like, let's get bullish, baby. It's time right now to start thinking about putting on some positions. If you don't have any yesterday, I know Daryl put on something in Microsoft long, 325. You're going to see where that goes. And I don't know, man. I just don't think that it's, looking at AMD, Neo, all that, man, still fantastic. We will look at that, Emily, one. But I don't know why it's such a dare to short Tesla here. I mean, you're at $1,000. You're up beautifully over the last little while. Is my mic not working?
It was more because it was a joke. I'm like, you need a reason more than double dog dare you.
Yeah. No, I get it. But I'm just wondering if it's because, do we even want to think about shorting Tesla today? And I just think that it was a big bump up. And what I'm saying is that, we are still bullish here. Oh, there it is. There, that's better. My screen wasn't working for a second. Now it's working. But again, this pullback down here, the futures and the market has fallen off a little bit here this morning. So remember, we had a very enthusiastic move yesterday, from 930 in Tesla all the way up to 980. There is potential for this to fall back down. You see from 2 o'clock where we got going. I don't know. Let's just wait to see where we go from here. The sticky note has a bunch of names on it today. AMC, again, we've done 2 back-to-back trades of the day on AMC, and today it looks like it's bumping up again here. So let's see a 5% move for AMC. You see all these longs yesterday. We bought dips all the way down, and normally we'd average into all this, but we kept getting out on all these bump ups. Pretty well traded there yesterday. We left it alone on Fed, which we should have got 25. I'm looking to see if we can hold that 25 today. So AMC, Tesla, AMD, you guys name it. Hut. I've been talking about Hut 8 for a while. I love that name. Palantir finally gets a bid. SoFi on the sticky note today as well. So really happy with the way things are shaping out now. But don't get caught too much. The market and some of these names could pull back early. So let's wait.
Yeah, a bit of a pullback currently here. I'm just watching ECB President Lagarde currently speaking, kind of echoing some of the comments that we heard from Fed Chair Powell yesterday, saying in the near term inflation remains elevated. But she's also saying that they expect inflation to fall in Europe next year. Same story, or same thing we heard from Fed Chair Powell yesterday. So a bit of a pullback here once again for the futures overall, but 0.6. So we're holding on to nice gains, as we said. Before we go any further, Miss V is joining us once again. Good morning.
Morning team, happy trading Thursday to you all. Please enjoy the show and your day. Like this video and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, lots to discuss here this morning, guys, as we head towards the open. Just keeping my eye on a few things coming out of this press conference going on right now. Again, the ECB decision this morning, the Bank of England decision this morning, the first interest rate increase from the Bank of England since the pandemic lows coming this morning. Both Bank of England and ECB also cutting back on their bond purchases going forward. So that has caused a bit of a turnaround here for the futures overall off the highs. We talked about Adobe there to kick things off a little bit. Wanted to mention this one as well because this is a big stock and it's up huge in the pre-market. Accenture, guys, with a great report this morning. ACN beating right across the board. Not a lot of volume here in the pre-market, but 10% move so far for Accenture.
Wow, yeah, that's I guess as good as Adobe was negative, you want to say. This is probably not going to be a day trading name. I say that. I can take the probably out of it because it is very thinly traded stock. Even on earnings, you're looking at 38,000 shares. And you got to be careful. I mean, especially careful when you're taking something which is broken out this far, buying tops with spreads like this. I mean, it can be on the radar for things like buying the dip or breaking back out. Accenture is the one. Every time this stock comes up, I just always think about, I believe it was the flash crash, because I think it was Accenture that had one of the most ridiculous moves on that way back when, like 15 years ago, the flash crash. And it had one of those ridiculous moves. But this is a pretty strong print for them. I don't think you're going to be able to just lean in and say, okay, buy the top or try to catch back like a 400 dip. Strong numbers are fine. Ultimately, usually my first thought when I see a break like this is it could be a little bit too far. Like Sean mentioned, you have two kinds of stocks here. You have some that are off of bottoms and making breakouts that have room to resistance levels, and you have ones that are just extending extremely far. And we've seen 10%ers before. And the only reason why I'm not thinking fade on this is the host of names where I kind of had that feeling and they just lingered at the top. I'm thinking of a name like Oracle, where you thought it might make a turnaround and it had gone so far, and there just wasn't a pullback in sight. And I think I would put something like an Accenture into that bucket. I think you just have to be careful with some of those setups. I think in either direction, you're getting outsized moves on earnings recently. And sometimes you just have to be able to say, okay, I'll back away from that. If I'm going to short something, like I'm looking at something along the lines of like a Roku on a reversal, like something that had bad news yesterday. That if I can find a top in that, I understand why there would be some sellers. But people have been looking to get some money back in mid-December, and if you get a fantastic report, that might not be the place where I think I would want to jump into it. The other side of it is, why would somebody want to book their profits if they can hold off on Accenture, which has been on an absolute tear, if they can hold off to the end of the year, or sorry, to the beginning of next year to book that profit. I think there will be some people that do that, which could cause it to stay up.
Okay, yeah, so I was looking for a couple pullbacks here in some stocks that we like. You can see the NASDAQ starting to get hit even more now to the downside, right? And so that's why you're seeing some of these names pull back. We talked about Apple earlier, and we've been talking about Apple for a while. I've been talking about Palantir, and look what happened yesterday on Palantir. We got that bid down here, 1822, right off the open, and then it just spiked like mad, and that was a great trade, one of my top stocks yesterday. And then today we have a nice level here of 1870 or so, maybe even down here to 1860 on Palantir. We did baseline off of the Fed. So if it comes out again, we will take a long in the pre-market here, or whenever we can get it down in around this 1880 level, and then look to see if it breaks if it breaks 1860 here, we'll get out of it and take that 20-cent hit, and then hopefully be able to load something up if it gets back down to between 18 and 1830. I really, really like that name. I can't believe that Kathy Wood has just been getting killed on a lot of her positions, but we're into ARC at 93. So I mean, what is ARC at right now? Let's just check right here. ARC is at 97, so that's not bad. So we're in a little bit 4 or 5% up there on ARC, but they bought a whole bunch of docu yesterday, over 100 million. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. Over $100 million worth, which is a huge amount of shares for DocuSign there. So this is another name. It's down today though. So DocuSign down today, even though the market's up. They had a nice rally yesterday up to 152, but not as much as I thought it would be. This is one of the names that I wouldn't be buying dips unless you can get back into this 130, 132. So that's just another Kathy Wood name here that I think you got to stay away from. But I do like ARC with the 2Ks coming up soon. And then we will talk about SoFi. There's so much to go here today. We'll have Arun at 9 o'clock. But this SoFi level that I wrote down on the sticky note, again, of this 1480 right around here, I really, really like this bump. It looks a lot like Palantir there for me. And this is what we talked about. We put a coffee on here. SoFi, great level at 14, but buy any dips to this 1480 as support. So I think yesterday, we'll put the sticky note up there so you guys can have a quick look. But I think this 15 should probably hold on SoFi today. And again, the reason why we like it is 14's held a couple times. So you go back a few days here for 14. This is just a 20-minute chart. But if you look at the daily chart for SoFi, you get some nice bounces off of these levels. So if you have a little bit of a longer term hold style, I think SoFi can be bought here, and we'll see if we get some dip buys.
All right, let's shift gears here a little bit, go to the auto sector a little bit. Wells Fargo out. Wells Fargo among 2 or 3 different analysts coming out today with a positive note on the auto sector in general. So they're talking about an entire group here, basically saying that 2022 will see a return to normality, essentially, as far as inventories are concerned and sales are concerned for the entire group. They mentioned Borg Warner in here, BWA, Ford, and GM. So I just pulled up GM, 1% here, but the entire sector getting a boost again. There was 2 or 3 positive notes on these stocks today.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned GM, and I'll quickly just go to them because that was one that bounced right off. There was a big that 5% move that down that GM, and I think that it just recently faced. It went right off that 200 period moving average, and it's pretty much poised today to make a test of its 50 period and hopefully close above it. It's essentially at it right now. So I mean, you're trying to break it as we speak. And this is to me the value name in the group. I think it's a good pair, especially if you have exposure to things like ChargePoint or in hydrogen like Plug, or if you're in the lithium space and you're doing in your secondary and tertiary plays or more along the lines of high growth names and you want a little bit less risk. I think GM's a good place to go. It's trying to break that 50 period as we speak. I'd like to see it hold above, maybe close above, and then maybe add to that in the long term. But it's not necessarily going to be, it's not on my list for a day trade. I mean, I could be sitting back here and saying, oh yeah, previous support, if it dips to 58, I'm going to like that. I think if you're day trading, I'd prefer that. I'm actually on the bid in front of Ford at 20, which the last time we tried a dip buy in Ford didn't work out. I feel a little bit better about that one today. But GM looking pretty solid if we close above that 50 period to maybe add to that position, at least for myself. The only thing I am in, by the way, just you'll see that I am in IronNet. IronNet of meme fame previously reported, and there was slightly decrease in revenue year over year. They got woodshedded; they're down over 20%. So shorting that one on a pop. Only position for now.
Yeah, look, I mean, we can continue to, hit all this stuff. We'll hit the booms. We'll hit everything on that one because Ford has just been a monster for me. And, for every call that we make, like a T-Doc that winds up going down or, forget about PaySafe, that got cracked out. Ford was a big name that we put a decent amount of capital in, and we've been liking this name since $6. So now it's at 21. So you're talking about a triple and moving higher here in just a year. So Ford has just been an absolute, or about a year and a half. Ford's been an absolute monster here. And then now today, they come out with even better news on our watch list, right? Ford Motor Company today, electrification. So what are they calling it? They're calling it, I put it on my sticky note. I'm just trying to see our notes here. Pro charging. So it's the Pro charging unit here, and it's going to be great news for them. Allows better management of charging your fleet at home. It's software, it's infrastructure, it's everything. So again, I have Ford written on the watch list here to see if we can get a pullback back to 20. So there are some people talking on the chat that it doesn't sound like I'm super excited about a rally today, and I'm not super excited. That's why most of the names, and again, if you look on it, it's not really rocket science here, guys. If you look on this, I said we need to see the market move, right? It could go south. So I wrote this note 45 minutes ago or so, and you could see what's been happening in the last 45 minutes or so. It's been going south. So, again, that's when I write these notes, and you can see here it is starting to go southbound now. So it's just one of those things where I think yesterday we had a huge bump up. I think that we can come back to some more realistic prices here, and then we hopefully can get long some Ford at 20. I think it's great news. I think the Ford is the king. I'm still in GM. But I dumped a lot more money into Ford. We actually sold some GM, and we tweeted out all my positions anyways. But we did sell some in the 60s there, although it's back upside right now, about $60. I still like Ford, and I like it back here to 20. I think on news, catalyst, that's what we talk about. Volumes there, 872. Let's check out the imbalance locator. We actually didn't do that yet today. We'll sort by size here and see what's going on. Oh, there's Ford. This is the first time I looked at this. Okay, so there's your. No, it says IRT, IRNT.
That's not IronNet.
No, so that's there as a sell. Ooh, AMC's a buy today, so that's good. We'll talk about that when we get going. And then NEO still at 31, eh? So that bounced down to, I think it was 29 yesterday. We killed NEO yesterday. NEO yesterday was by far, the smoothest trade for me. It broke 30.50, and then we hammered that all the way to 30. Out. That's 50 cents clean right there. Then we shorted the 30 break, and it was like ding, 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 ding. We got those out at 29.20, which is going to be, if I look at a chart, that's going to be a great out right there. And then we actually went long, and we tried to hold it, and we got out there right before it pops up. That's right at 2 o'clock. We just didn't want to hold that into the Fed. Got out, and then look at it, just ripped to the upside. And then now today, you're still up another 2% on NEO. So we'll do some more work on that one, but this is another name that we're looking at.
Staying in that category, guys, the automotive category, Arrival, a little tiny one. ARVL getting a boost today, 5.2%. This is a UK-based EV company, if you remember, ARVL. So this is an actual physical prototype that they launched today of this Arrival car. So the first time the world is seeing the Arrival car today, and it actually apparently works and is a thing. It's not just an image or a computer-generated image. They put together this prototype of this car. So interesting looking little EV coming for this one, guys, Arrival.
First thing when you brought that up, I was like, they have a deal. I was like, they have a deal with Uber, and I looked up. Yeah, that's right. They have a deal with partnership with Uber. This was, I guess, months back. But yeah, good to see. You don't really see much of that prototype in that picture, I'm going to be honest with you. So it's kind of like...
if I was a company, I wouldn't release anything EV right now. Apple's going to come in and absolutely destroy all these guys. And so is Rivian. I don't know. Look, I don't know enough about the company. I don't like.
I think there's a lot of niches to be had, right? Like I think certainly there's a delivery space, and having whether you have the ability to have contracts with people like Amazon for an example, which I think is a fantastic for backstop for Rivian in their particular case, and in this case here, like. What I would be imagining, and again, like I'm just sort of speculating, I don't know much about Arrival, but the deal with Uber, when you get to the point of eventually being automated, you start to think about, okay, well, there could be like a fleet of very simplistic vehicles as opposed to, well, if that's going to be the future play, well, that makes sense to me because when Uber goes automated, that's going to be gigantic, I think. And if there happens to be an EV company that has a stranglehold on a portion of that fleet. And again, I'm not saying that that's going to be a rival. That could be a niche that they could jump into. And I think those types of niches can be out there and available, but otherwise you're sort of gambling on who's going to win. But when it comes to overall, like the regular consumers like the rest of us, is a reason it's like Tesla and GM, because I don't really know who's going to be the winner here. Is it going to be Lucid with their little car of the year? Let's see how much that gave them a bump, right? But maybe that's going to be a niche. I'll look to see and maybe read up a bit more about what that's going to entail, because for them in Uber, for production, I don't think was till next year. So, I don't really know how big a deal that's going to end up being. I think it's a tremendous potential once things get automated. Obviously, I think that's a huge, huge possible step. So, Arrival is going to be on the radar. I don't see a ton of volume on this thing today. As I watch, it's kind of thinly traded up that 5%, which a lot of times if I see gap up on a not the best looking chart in the world, and we're in front of resistance, I think auto fade at like $8, but it doesn't even have enough volume to make that interesting just yet.
Yeah, no, and I think the market tells the whole story here. I mean, if Arrival's going to win, then Bob's your uncle, because like if you think that, look at this, you're down to $8 now. I mean, this thing was back on November 1st, it was $18. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Honestly, like we just saw Hertz tried to, I don't know if they did or not, but pick up all those Teslas, like 100,000 of them. So I don't know which company's going to win here, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be Arrival, and it's not going to be Workhorse, it's not going to be Nikola, it's not going to be any of those names. You can try. So what I'm getting at here is, and I think Neil even said it too, we don't know which company in the next 2-3 years is going to be higher valuation than it is right now. But that's why you can get into some ETFs, right? There are some EV ETFs out there. We'll go over some of those. But I don't know. I'm not super excited. It is a nice bump for them. It is 100,000 shares. If you manage to somehow pick up a bottom on this, like 720 or something, then that's great. For me, I'd like to see it get above here. And I'm not going to say this stock is dead. I'm just going by this chart. I mean, it didn't hold any levels. It came down to this 10 level, bounced around a little bit, and then I don't know, it went from 10 to 7 in 3 days. That's 30%, and it just continues to go down. So for me, I like to wait to pick up some good levels here, just like DraftKings were waiting, things like that. So I think you got to break back above some psychological levels of 10. But hey, if you like the story and you want to dip in now, there's nothing wrong with that. But hey, I can show you numerous charts that look like this, and I can tell you one thing. Hopefully Rivian, after they report tonight, won't continue a slide down. And I think after you see a few of these companies start to report, then you'll get an idea of what they have on hand, what their balance sheets look like, and then what their forward looks are.
Look at NIO. Like once we got,
there's another example.
You get more delivery numbers out of China, and they continued to lag. Like the XPengs and the BYDs of the world, and it's been in free fall. It's been relatively weak the entire time. It's down to $31 NIO. It's just that's what's basically been happening to the space. As a matter of fact, NIO. After this with the Fed, if NIO doesn't hold this 30 level by end of the year, like that's another stock that could be under a tremendous amount of pressure. Now it's obviously currently holding that level, but you saw what Ivan do it yesterday. Like it's just been prone for those types of moves to the downside. And NIO was the darling 6 months ago.
I mean, this is the thing. Is like we can talk about all this. We've already talked about Ford. Ford has way more cash. Ford has the ability to raise as much capital as they want. They could do an offering. There goes my...
What just happened?
I don't know. Ford can raise... sometimes my screen goes off. I have no idea what's happening. But I saw Lucas here working on it, so hopefully that changes. But the point is that any great idea that any of these little companies have, one of these legacy automakers, Volkswagen, GM, Ford, I mean, I could even say Tesla, but I don't think Elon Musk is going to be copying anybody. They can just come right in and do the same thing and probably do it cheaper. So I think it's good that Arrival has that connection with Uber right now. But I mean, one of these big companies can come in. We already saw Toyota the other day made a big move. Ford came out and said 600,000 EVs on the road in a couple years. So, I mean, what's Arrival going to put out there? A couple hundred? So you got to be very, very careful to mess with Ford, GM, and I think Toyota, Volkswagen in this space. But anyways, that's enough about EV.
I was just looking at the overall market here, guys, continuing to come to the downside ever so slightly. The ECB in this press conference, which should be wrapping up fairly shortly, the market might get some stability once it does. So they came out with a multi-year forecast similar to what the Fed did yesterday as far as inflation is concerned. In 2022, they're saying 3.2%. That's versus 1.7% that they forecast back in September. So the market continues to act a little bit negative here. Remember, 2.8% from the Fed yesterday in 2022. The ECB saying a little more, maybe realistically, 3.2% by the end of 2022. Again, that's versus 1.7% in September. So that seemed to cause that last little pullback there in the overall market. I mean, we're still up 0.5%. We'll get Arun in, as we said, coming up here in about 5 minutes. But I think maybe as a general note, we might get a little more stability, guys, in some of these stocks once this press conference wraps up.
Yeah, that's bound to happen. You saw the fluctuation. It was like that back and forth trying to shake you out when the Fed announcement came. But it's worth keeping in mind. Like, we're still up a tiny bit here on the NASDAQ as it pulls back in. That 16, and Arun will probably talk about these levels. That 16.3 should be interesting. I think if we break that, your floor, that 16,000 level looks pretty good. And to me, it's just about finding levels. I mean, I can't remember the last time I was actually sitting on the bid and several names for dip buys, and then I just found another one that I was interested in. The CRM just turned red on the session. I talked about potentially, I joked about Double Dare not shorting Tesla just in front of 1,000. And well, it was rolling records there, and the chat was mostly saying it. But yeah, I mean, that would have worked if you just shorted Tesla in front. I was looking more so at Roku, which I think is stabilized at a 211 level there. But at the end of the day, you know, once this settles down, we still have a half an hour to the open. You stick to the names that are moving. I know there's at least one of them on that board up there that we've mentioned. The board I'm saying is the upgrades and downgrades that we've already talked about that should be in play today and are worth looking at both for short term and I think for the long term there. So an interesting board there, Brendo. I'm kind of surprised that one name isn't there, but we'll get to that after you're done.
Yeah, a few notable ones to discuss here this morning, guys. As far as upgrades are concerned, a lot of people mentioning AT&T, Shopify, obviously the one we were mentioning, Evercore, Morgan Stanley for AT&T, Booking.com, Fiserv, all to the upside. I was kind of surprised to see Airbnb on here. Back to the downside once again, Royal Bank, obviously RY here in Toronto, DocuSign, Under Armour, and Lear Corporation on the downside.
I guess no one could have responded to Adobe yet because they just came out with the earnings. But I mean, I would expect after they already had some downgrades in the cloud space, after their guidance, I would expect you're going to see a few more downgrades of Adobe on that list. Shopify getting the upgrade, that does not surprise me one bit. I think they're pretty well primed here. Good Canadian company, back above that 14,000 mark here in the U.S. and that's 1,400 mark here in the U.S. market. So I think that's a good price. If they can hold that today, I think sky's sort of the limit for Shopify, which is just bouncing off its 200 period moving average. It's done a good job of traveling through. And then once it reemerges, it's done really well of having some decent rallies here. So I think this has some pretty clear sailing, hopefully. I would buy the dip if there was one at 13.50 today, but I'm not sure that's going to actually happen on Shop.
Yeah, and I mean, some people asking, I'm going to have to find out what is going on with Airbnb because I don't understand why they would be downgraded. So I just kind of want to find out what the reason for that was, what some of the notes in that downgrade, because honestly, like Airbnb is right at some levels now that if you like the stock, I think you can buy it. I think it works in the Omicron or whatever environment we're going to be in for the next little while. I like Airbnb, but again, the problem is going to be, even here in Canada, we've started to limit international travel, and there's going to be more and more people not taking, trips, not traveling anymore. And obviously that is going to hurt Airbnb. But at some point, man, I mean, the world's going to open back up, and this Airbnb trade is going to be great at some of these levels. But there is an opportunity, again, to continue to fall. I think a lot of these plays, I like Shopify. I think Shopify works, again, in any environment because it's a small business play. It's a play on the reopen and the close at the same time. So I do like that. But Airbnb, again, a name I'm looking to get some money in. I'm going to give this a couple days to settle down here before we buy anything. But Shopify and Airbnb, two names that would definitely be on my go shop list, especially if we get some downward movements here. Like a 160 looks pretty sweet for Airbnb. So if you can pick that up on a downgrade, that's fantastic. And then another name that's been beat down for a while, Salesforce. I bought Salesforce a hell of a long time ago, but I don't have that much money in it anymore. So I want to buy some more Salesforce here. And it just bounced off another great level of 250 after traveling all the way, man. Like, they closed that deal with, Slack, not Workday, right? So they closed that deal with Slack. They start to go all the way to the upside there, make a beautiful high. I love Mark Benioff. I think he's one of the better CEOs out there, and we like what Salesforce brings to a lot of companies, especially in the data management side. I mean, that's all that they do. Find out what your customers like and hammer them. So 270 break maybe is something there. But any more dips in CRM is a definite buy. But I think you got to stick with some dividend names as well. So we'll see. I'm in already a lot of high flyers, but those three names, man, Shopify, Airbnb, and Salesforce, 3 buys.
All right, we'll bring in Arun here, get a quick check of the overall market, see what we need to be aware of this morning. Arun, we were talking about the ECB announcement, the press conference still underway here. Some comments seem to be moving the market overall. As far as levels are concerned, what are you looking at?
Well, it's different on both markets. I'm talking about the NASDAQ and the S&P, the ES. Now, the ES has taken out its all-time high by a couple points. I think it was like 41 something, and we got as high as 43.25 this morning in the pre-market. But we are coming off, and you're seeing activity pick up, especially as we get closer to the open, the press conference wrapping up as well. Clear downside, but not biased, but there is some activity coming in on the downside. There is an opportunity to catch a bid here on a dip, but you got to find the location. For now, I want to respect the fact that the selling is coming in, so we're not going to do anything just yet. But I'm looking for a potential long here somewhere. It remains to be seen where, but as long as this selling slows down, or whenever the selling slows down, I can definitely step in and go for a long, as long as we stay above 46.95. I think for me, that's the cutoff. As long as we stay above there, longs are still in play. Now, if we accelerate to the downside, take out the 46.95, then the downside is wide open, because based on yesterday's move and how aggressive that was, there really wasn't any levels created on the way up. So you have a decent amount of space to the downside. So 46.95 is going to be the cut point for any longs. Longs are on the table as long as we stay above that point, pretty much from 2020, pretty much where we are right now, 47.24, all the way down to 46.95. There's a long opportunity. It's just a matter of waiting for the right timing on this, just kind of sidestepping a lot of this noise that comes in, and then hopefully we find enough action to go with and then go for the long. On the NASDAQ side of things, though, it's a little different, because 16,500, I think for me, is the big level. We haven't gotten past that since late November. We've gotten just north of 16.4 quite a few times, but there's a little bit of flexibility. You do have to give that flexibility for the NASDAQ, given how thin it is. So I'm saying 16.5. If we get above there, we really have a chance to get going. But the next 150 points, because we're trading at 16,340 right now, so 160 points to the upside. There's a lot of resistance that needs to be cleared for this to be a long on the NASDAQ. So it's a weird situation here, where this S&P is looking for longs. The NASDAQ may go up, but is limited by how much upside it has with the amount of resistance. Now, if they clear all of it, then you have a really good chance of taking it all-time highs. But from this point on, I think you're probably stronger in the S&P. NASDAQ might kind of grind its way up, and if it picks up acceleration, then I think we have clear sailing above 16.5.
We have that lingering effect, obviously, from what happened yesterday. We missed you yesterday. Arun, give us a quick thought, I guess, on what we saw as far as price action coming off the Fed. Price
actions, it was delayed, and it was typical. whipsaw moves in the first little bit as programs read what to do with that information. Remember, it's algorithmic at the beginning because they get the information first. They can parse that information faster than the human can read it. So it's just, bits and pieces, and you get that flash move in one direction, then you get the spin in the opposite direction. And then a few minutes later, you get that build up. And once we got going, we kind of went up into, what was it, 46.40 or so. We started to slow down a little bit, and it wasn't until 3 o'clock. Obviously, the Fed, he does his Q&A starting at 2:30, but it wasn't until 3 o'clock, typically when the closing hour, usually when closing programs kind of not fully come online, but they start positioning themselves. That's when you saw the acceleration, and then it was off. Pretty much from 46.50, we never slowed down at any point until we got close to 4,700. Round number towards the end of the day, you get a little bit of selling after that accelerated move, and then it came off a little bit, dipped, and then finally and turned right back around in the final 6-7 minutes or so. So that's a strong run, repositioning or unwinding of any shorts that were in play for the last 2 days or whatnot, maybe getting out. Given that how strong we were, it makes sense that some shorts were getting out in front of this information, and then once they got the information, it was pretty much, longs were getting out in front of this information, and then longs just kind of getting back in because it's like, oh, you know what, it's not that bad. Let's go ahead and get back in. And that's kind of what you deal with. Now, I was looking at the 20-year treasuries as well as gold. Treasuries was a great short on or not treasury, the TLT was a great short, which is the ETF, the 20-year ETF. That was a great short. That was an opportunity. Gold was all over the place as well. So when the Fed starts to kind of make moves, I try to stay away from the futures as much as I possibly can. It gets really whippy, right? I'd rather go directly where these rates will impact the most. So I go for the treasuries, I go for the gold. I just kind of, maybe even the financial stocks, BAC, Citigroup, those kind of names that would have had a really good day yesterday. So definitely one of those things where you got to kind of pick your shots because it gets really whippy, and just be smart about it. I mean, at least now for next time, that if you are trading futures, back off a little bit because there's so many components in the futures, and then not good or higher rates or any sort of changes doesn't really affect them equally. So you do have to be aware of how much action you're going to get from different components inside the indexes.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. Appreciate it. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's continue along. Lots to discuss. Busy morning. Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto, joining us for your year-end review. I've been looking forward to this because we've done a lot of these segments this year, and there's a lot to talk about because we've discussed numerous names, numerous opportunities on this side of the border, some of those obviously interlisted in the U.S. as well. We're going to go over the naughty and nice list, I guess, for the year, and also talk a little bit about what's to come next year. So let's start off on the downside, your lump of coal, as you say.
Yeah, there's the lump of coal. Companies that said they were going to do something, perhaps didn't deliver as well as they thought they might, and they get the lump of coal.
All right, let's go. Give me the first one here.
So the first one we're going to start with was Monterey, MREY. MREY, they came out, gold company. They were supposed to have some properties that were supposed to spin out. They had a bunch of things they were doing, consolidated the stock, supposed to move up. Management didn't deliver. Stock has gone down to what, the equivalent of 2-3 cents now.
It's MREY,
yeah.
CSE, so we're at 30.
Yeah, so they consolidated.
Right.
They consolidated to the equivalent of 2-3 cents when they were at 10. Right, essentially. And so they've come down a fair bit. Let's see what they do in the new year if they actually do deliver, but lump of coal.
Yeah, and I think we were talking, I remember this one, we were talking about this one when it was initially making those moves back a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
The next one.
Next one we're going to go to is Mountain Valley, MVMD, lump of coal. Management had an ivermectin play when that was the thing, when certain former presidents had comments around that. So they had a cold storage solution, they had a medical solution, they had a bunch of things. Lump of coal didn't deliver, and you see what the stock price did. So let's see if they do deliver, but they get one of my lumps of coal right here.
Amazing. This thing got all the way up here to
on the back of the ivermectin solution.
So this was February, yeah. So that was right around that.
They had
time.
An ivermectin solution. They had cold storage. They had all these things they were going to do, and yeah.
2.20 to 13 cents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lump of coal.
Next one.
Lump of coal. A company called West, WEST. The stock was up around $1. Again, management said they were going to deliver a lot of things, and didn't. So if you look at where the stock has come down into the 10s and 15s and 20-cent range. So, if you don't deliver, the market's going to react.
And which sector is this in?
West is in the energy sector.
Right. So, yeah, this was another one. I remember that we were way up here, I think, the beginning of the year, all the way back to 8 cents for West. All right, let's go to
the goods.
what paid the bills this year as far as your opportunities?
So companies that we talked about that, were on the lower end and that ran up. And so, depending on where you took advantage of the opportunity, whether you bought it somewhere on the way up, some of them have come on the way down, but at the end of the day, these ones are still up from where we initially spoke about them. So they get the nice list.
Nice.
So we're going to start with VenturePoint, VPT. They have the cardiac solution. They are focused on children. We spoke about that. Actually, I specifically remember on our year-end segment, you said, give me a tech name, and I was on the spot. and we picked it up, and VPT was at 7 cents coming out at the end of the year. They ran up into 60. They're around 30 cents right now, trading 1 million, 2 million shares a day. They've raised $8 million a couple weeks ago, so they've never had more money, and now it's time to execute. So they're in bed with GE. So a nice trade if you were somewhere in that trade, and a naughty list.
Yeah,
nice list, sorry.
Mind this gap here, guys. This is a symbol change to a different company. So here's 30. As Raheem was mentioning, 60 up here. We come back. Actually, a really good level. This chart looks pretty good.
Yeah, and again, it's 7 at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, so a huge move to the upside. Okay.
Yeah, so Empower Clinics is the next one that we're going to talk about, CBDT. Again, on the nice list. At the beginning of the year, they were in the 5 cent range. They acquired clinics. They had a testing play as well in the clinics that they acquired. Stock ran into the $2 range. So if you picked it up at 5 cents, you had a good day. But even then, they came into the 70s, the 80s, raised a little bit of money on the exercise of the warrants. They're sitting in the 25, 30 cent range right now. So you have the peak in the valley. But if you picked it up anywhere along the way, you have the opportunity to make money. They're in the 30 cent range now, let's call it. And it's a name that we like, and we think there's going to be more things to come.
I believe they were on the show, were they not?
Yeah.
At one point.
They were
earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Great look. Okay, so there's 3 naughties. There's 3 nice for you. So we did okay throughout the year, talking about, again, these are all opportunities, guys, on the Canadian side of the border, some of which are going to have U.S. listings as well. Typically OTC, there are 1 or 2 that we'll mention from time to time that are on the NASDAQ. Let's discuss 2022, because we're at that time of year where we're all kind of putting on our forecasting hats and coming up with ideas for the new year. Give us yours.
So yeah, I'll be on in 2 weeks, and we'll do that December 30th.
Right.
So, the key terms for the past year: COVID, supply chain, and energy. So those were the names of the last year. Where are we going this year? It's going to be interesting to see where things go again with the new variant and whichever transformer they come up with the next name. The
Megatron?
I think we're past that, right? Megatron, whoever the Decepticon is on the next variant. So we got whatever happens there. Energy is going to be a hot topic, and again, supply chain. Like prices the prices are going through the roof on anything, whether you're buying avocados or you're buying wood for your home. So those are going to be key things that are going to carry us into the next year. And then battery metals, anything to do with anything Elon talks about is going to have a play, and that's going to touch into mining. Whether you use gold as a caveat, so maybe that's something we'll talk about in a couple of weeks. Is storage of value. Because with inflation going the way it is, Arun just talked about interest rates and where those are going. Storage of value, I'm a believer in storage of value. So I think we'll talk about maybe that in 2 weeks before 2022 hits us.
So come back, guys. Join us on, I think it's the 30th, which is the Thursday.
I'm teasing myself.
Yeah, the Thursday of the last week of the year, we'll discuss some opportunities going into the new year.
And I'll come back in studio to do that because I'm that dedicated.
We appreciate it, as always. Raheem Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto. I am actually off next week, so I'll take this opportunity to wish you and your family, your brand new family, all the best for both the holidays and the new year to come.
Yes, happy holidays to everybody.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll see you in 2 weeks, and maybe I'll bring the little guy.
Great stuff.
Get him on. All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Raheem.
Thank you.
There we go, guys. I'll look at some winners and a few that weren't so good from Raheem this year.
Absolutely. And when you talk about some of those supply and anything Elon talks about, hey, man, what the EVs need, copper, lithium, I'm with you. A couple people in the chat talking about that. And I think there's going to be some plays for next year in that space. I don't necessarily think energy is done either. So once again, thank you, Raheem, for all of that. There were some jokes in the chat about what the next variant is going to be called. They go down that Greek alphabet, and maybe they should get more interesting.
Yeah,
with that.
there's no wonder what it's going to be called. I think they're just going through a list.
Yeah,
right?
I know. They
So
should, but why
whatever the
not
next
switch it up?
What is the next one? Actually, maybe we should look that up. I want to say a shout out to Hydration Nation as well. We crushed this whole thing yesterday. We're back on the water tip there. And those of you asking, yeah, Arun. So it'll be myself and Arun, as Brennan just mentioned. He's off next week. So Neil will be at the big desk, and Arun and I will be sitting here trading. So you want more Arun. You got more Arun. He's going to be in the building one more time. And then he's probably not going to be here for a very long time because it seems like we tend to take our breaks here in the winter months.
Well, you know why that happens.
But maybe at some point we'll put out a all points bulletin for another host because we've been doing such a good job. I think that we've just been awarded 3 months vacation per year.
What we have?
No, we're not Raheem. So don't forget about that, as he's right there. So, thank you to Raheem. So, are you coming back before the new year? Okay, so So he will be back here, and we'll have some champagne because 2 weeks today is the 30th. So we're not too far from then to be popping that champagne.
Time is fun.
And you know what? Actually, this is an update here. There is no day off this year for New Year's Day. The market is not taking any days off. New Year's Day is, I think, the Sunday. The market is open the Monday and open the Friday. So, I mean, unless I'm wrong, I was looking it up last. Yeah. There's absolutely no holiday this year for New Year's. So, thank you, market gods, I guess.
But they don't have a half day on New Year's Eve. That's the other thing.
They have nothing.
By the way, Adobe's still getting smacked here, down like 8.5% last year. Well, now 8%. So Adobe's still getting crushed to the downside. IronNet is about to break $5. I'm not taking anything out till it breaks that 5. What goes down can go further down.
But there's that IronNet. I mean, Raheem just talked about, not talked about, but there was a few there that you're holding those bags on a lot of those names, right? I mean, check out IronNet. You want to talk about the market just getting things wrong. And I mean, I'm really tired of these underwriters bringing some of these names to market. And I mean, I'll go on these rants all the time, but once the chart loads up, you can see why I'm ranting on this thing. Why did this? And I know it's a market. It's a function of the market here, right? And I don't know if we can blame the underwriters or not bringing this to market at 13, okay? But then obviously there's a volume issue. They're not releasing enough shares on some of these names. So what winds up happening is people are getting blown out, like as if this thing went to $62 back in September. And then just look at this all the way to the downside. And this is what I mean. I mean, what kind of due diligence or anything are you going to do on this stock that's going to tell you this? Like, it's just straight down. You get one little pump there, probably something on social media or something like that. A nice little pump up there, saving people that are holding these bags. Boom. And then everybody gets out. You could see everybody has, rose-colored glasses again. And then doot. Now all the way back down. And then, now this just came to market in August at 13. Like, thanks Goldman or Morgan or whoever wrote this thing. And now it's down to 5. Like, it was that mispriced that it's now down less than half or more than half, of what it came out at. Like, I'm done with a lot of these names. Year 2022, man, is going to be the year of higher quality. I'm done with all these garbage names. We got crushed on PaySafe. We're still holding those bags. Do I think it's going to be coming back? Yes. So I think that eventually we make some of this money back. Do I think we get to some of the levels that we were at, on, obviously not with PaySafe, as it was BFT, which was horrible. Again, Bill Foley there, supposed to have some sort of a reputation. And you could see what happened to PaySafe here, just 380. Give me a break. This thing, we're stuck at $8. So whatever it is, it is. This is still IronNet. But PaySafe is another one of those bag holds that, honestly, it's me. This is, look at the earnings. Look at the earnings. Boom. See ya. Right? So we started to get this name early. Hasn't really given any relief all the way down. So PaySafe's another one of those names. But again, no one bought it up here, 17, 18, 19. But we start to build the position, 12 or 13, average in again somewhere here, in here. Give us an average price of, I think I'll double check for you, but it's high $8 where we're stuck, which is horrible. It's a $4 name. So, I don't know. Obviously I'm a little bit... Raising
rate environment is not the place to be in names that haven't made money. And I think that's it's a change for people who haven't been in that type of environment. But as far as day trading goes, I'll say this, but there's a very big difference between trading these things from day trading and holding onto them in your long-term account. I think there are always going to be fantastic trade opportunities in some of these movers.
All right, let's jump into what we need to talk about before we get to the open, guys. 10 minutes already to go. So let's get into Apple leading the way as far as the watch list is concerned this morning. We have Apple, Adobe, AMD, but I want to focus on Apple and AMD specifically because if you look at these moves from yesterday afternoon, these two were among the biggest benefactors from that Fed announcement. Huge moves back to the upside for both of these. Apple, though, back to flat here.
Remember that there's still that 3 trillion number, which was, I think, could still potentially be some resistance. It's 182.86 up in Apple. 182 was the high that it put in at the beginning of the week here. And I think if you get back up to that, there could be a little bit of a potential like consolidation fade, and then you're waiting for it to break. I'm not sure we get that today. As you see, we're back below the 180. I didn't even put an order in to dip by where I think there would be the support. It's right in this cluster here, 74 to 76. I am doing so in AMD in front of 44s, but with Apple, I'm just not completely convinced it goes down that far. And if it does, I'll be more watching the futures to see their reactions. I think that'll be a better play to watch the futures and see where they bear out. AMD, like I said, I have no problem sort of sitting on the bid right now at about 145 and change. Apple, if it does trade down into that 74 to 76, it's more of a wide cluster of support where we were buying it. Actually, we were actually doing this on Friday when that was where we had the good dip buys and then breakout trades. And if it comes back into that range, I want to be able to play it. But because it's a $1.50 to $2 support range, I'd rather travel into it before just sticking any bids in Apple. But lo and behold, if you're going to buy something on a dip and you think the market's going to find a base, I think Apple's one of the first places you can go. I think the chip names are okay. I'm actually going to sit on a Global Foundries bid, which I haven't done in a while.
Yeah, I wrote down here, I don't have Apple on here, but I do have AMD, and it's the same thing here. We're going to start the long at 145, written right here on the sticky note. We'll put that up in case you guys want to check it out. Again, I like the long at that level, and I think that you do have a dip buy opportunity. We talked about that a little bit here. Let me move this away. So here's 145. I just think we had some consolidation, a little bit of consolidation. I mean, it's really at 144. So I said that the kill zone is 144. I think you got to hold this at least $1 against you. I'm going to start the bid at about 146. So maybe we do get a little move down. AMD's been known to do this. This is yesterday's down move. So AMD just kind of cruising up here. Boom. I don't know. I thought I traded this yesterday, but maybe I didn't. Look at this base down here, 134. We'll see if we do it at 144 today. So AMD yesterday starts 135, prints early 133.80. So you do get a $1 move down before it rips back up about $3 or $4, comes all the way back again, and then we know the story at 2 p.m. With just the Rip City at 2 p.m. We actually talked about this on the Market Movers, that this was going to be a name that you wanted to get into off that 3 p.m. number or 2 p.m. number. We got into Microsoft at 327, you know that, and that ripped to 335. AMD right now, I like the support here. Let's start the bidding at 146, and then we're going to hold it to 144. So we do have some downward momentum here coming through. So we'll wait to see. But if I'm going to be buying 146, I am expecting it to bump to 148. So we'll see if it dip buys anything. Quickly checked on the imbalance locator here. Ford, still a bid. We're on the bid lower on this name as well in the 20s. We'll see if we pick that up. Joby, AMC. Ooh, AMC's getting close. Oh, I don't have a bid on AMC. Okay, I wrote down that I like 25 and a quarter. So we'll see if AMC can get back down to 25 and a quarter down here, right this level. So, ooh, I'm surprised I didn't bid this. I'm surprised I don't have a 50 bid here. So, yeah, we'll look at AMC, but AMC rocking, rolling another 4 Ps today.
Yeah, see Ford there on the list. Let's talk Tesla as well, guys. Tesla back, as we said, to that, or was anyways, back to that $1,000 level in the pre-market here. It's come off with the market, but I mean, a lot of people are going to be looking at Tesla today. There's no real news story to follow, but what do we do with this? Is there a chance we can close back up here?
Well, and there's always a chance. And all joking aside on that 1,000 level, I mean, when it tested it, it was before 8 o'clock when it took that level back to the downside. And just almost no chance I'm trading Tesla that early in the session, but it was tradable up that price range, and we've seen what happens when it does reject this price. Let's go to the 15 because that looks a little bit better. I just wasn't discounting the fact that when it was up here, it was 1020 to 1025 that was the bigger resistance on Tesla, and certainly I would play that if we get a chance. And the previous support before we got that I guess, flushed down in a couple of days of doldrums was 980. So that's the first place you'd look for a bounce. We start trading and holding if we hold an offer at below 980, I think you could see some real downside in Tesla, but the first stop is going to be that 980 level. I still think there's 1025 resistance, but that doesn't look like it's going to come into play at this particular point. I think I was looking at Roku because its resistance is right here at 210 to 211, and that's at about 208.5. But Tesla, you're too far away from it to be laser focused on it right now.
I want to give a big thanks to whoever J Doe is. I don't know if it's John Doe, Jane Doe. Yeah, just J Doe there. Went over to another channel and started to advertise for us. So, hey, man, we do like that. Not like Super Chicken. We start to advertise for them. Actually, Maggie's not here today. I'm going to find out.
That was interesting.
I'm going to find out more about Super Chicken because you guys basically bombarded their Instagram account. And the next thing we know, we're blocked from them. And I think Prad's their best customer, if not Lucas. So, I mean, I don't know what they're doing over there.
Tie.
And they're starting to piss me off by that, so that's not going to be good. Kathy Woods dumped 1 million shares of Palantir yesterday. Good. I'm tired of people beating up on Kathy Wood names, and honestly, Kathy Wood hasn't been super exciting to me forever. I mean, she hit the home run on Tesla. Good for you. I'm up 800% on Tesla, right? But, I mean, the same point is she's been a great stock picker. I don't know if it's going to be true moving forward. Who knows where she bought. It's an active, and this is what I want to say about ARK, is I'm in ARK, so I'm not bashing Kathy Wood. I think she has some great innovation ideas, and I think if you want to get into some names, I'm in T-Doc by myself, which has been horrible, which is why I'm thinking about switching over to not thinking about, I'm currently in this. I recently bought it at 93, but that's an actively, so this is what I'm saying. I always get people tweeting at me, Kathy Wood bought or sold Twitter, Kathy Wood bought or sold Tesla, Palantir, things like that. You have to remember, it's a managed fund. So you're paying that 0.75 so they can get in and out of positions as they see fit, right? And I mean, like I said, you get that big bump up here in the market. You get a big bump up in her ETF, upside there. Some nice holding out here. This is why I'm long in this area, 93. We'll see if it can continue to bump up. But just because she sold some Palantir yesterday, and I don't know that to be true or not, I don't check her stats every day, doesn't mean she won't buy more today. So just be very, very careful with that. Over at the big screen right now, wow, holy shoot. I didn't realize, Brendo,
we only have 4 minutes.
9:26.
Yeah.
Shut up, Sean. Over to the big screen.
Yeah, busy morning. Lots to talk about. This one included Frey, bottom of the list this morning, along with a few other little ones. This is not necessarily a weak stock, so just be careful with this. We are thinly traded as well, coming back into a couple of key levels here. We'll watch 1280 and then 1320, which is the top of the pre-market. Gets a retest of that range. Might be another opportunity. It starts holding 1280, 13. You probably get a break of the highs back to these levels for Frey, but coming off here already for FREY, guys.
Yeah, another one that's on our watch list is this TALT up 40%, a massive move. They were halted pretty much not the entire session, but the entire afternoon. They got halted, opened back up in the afternoon or in the aftermarket. They did get an FDA granting approval on their lead drug, which reduces. I can't even pronounce that. So you guys can, if you can pronounce it, you can read it on the watch list. But these drug names I'm not going to be able to get. I think a big level at this 25, which is held a couple of times, if it holds a bid below, holds an offer below that, I think it's going to turn into a bit of a short. And then top side, when you look at the daily chart here, when you look at the daily chart, it does look like it's going to have some resistance around like 34, 35 if things get out of hand. But 25 looks like a pretty key level to me. If it can break below that and hold, I think that's where I would be looking for a short. Otherwise, it's a long until that level certainly breaks. I'm not in it, only in IronNet, which of course we already talked about, got beaten up on earnings. Adobe bad, IronNet worse.
Yeah, future's starting to come down. And remember what we wrote, guys, and I'm not going to, this will be the last time I show the sticky note, I promise. Probably not, but you can see right here, oops, you can't see at all on that look. Okay, thanks, Rob, but it doesn't matter. You guys can find the sticky note if you want. It just says down here, market could go south, right? And watch out for the market moves, because some of these plays that we're making today were based on, and I wrote that sticky note, like here's the market. I wrote that sticky note like 7:30, so that's right here. And obviously it's just ticked all the way down. So I don't know, like I said, man, when I think those things, I just need to put on some trades at that point because they would have worked. But here's SoFi ticking down. We're almost long SoFi. We do have a bid right now at 26. So look, the market's coming in. So let's see if we can buy some SoFi down here on the cheap. We're going to wait for 1480. IronNet looks like it's going down. Good call on that one. AMD as well, hitting back down to 147 now. The market's getting cranked here heading into the open. So let's wait to see. Maybe not the market, but some of these stocks fading in. I think we may be able to get some of these bids. Quick look here. Ford. We have a bid on Ford. I'll tell you where it is. 26. I don't know. If we get it, we get it. We're going to try to defend some of those levels. Roblox there as a bid. We'll wait to see, but I'm excited. I'm going to look at SoFi early as it's the one that's ticking down to some levels I like.
Yeah, and look, IronNet, it's down 27% and getting crushed. Like, I don't necessarily want to say that's a great call. It's just it's a company which has not been doing well, which then disappointed on earnings. That's kind of low-hanging fruit. Facebook just went negative and turned down like $4 here very, very rapidly. I mean, I don't even like support till about 332. It's not a stock that was on my first radar, but already starting to drop here, so we got to get that one to you very, very quickly. There was this KXIN auto, which I am watching off of the open, and with only 30 seconds to go. It's stabilizing, but lower consolidation. I'm looking at 165 area. If it pops up and gives me the pop and fade, that's one that you could see me enter at the open. With only 20 seconds to go, wow, it should be an interesting day. We're trying to defend that 16.3 level, but 16,000 on the NASDAQ I think could be a little bit more important. Miss V is going to be on the bell because that's what she does. Hopefully, I don't know if she's wearing green today. I don't think
She's wearing
so.
blue?
No, it's a North Carolina blue. It's a North Carolina
Vince
blue.
Carter?
Which has been pretty good for the markets recently. 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, Miss V.
I do. All right, there we go. Yes, one last hit there to top it all off. Thank you, Ms. V, for that one. Yeah, very, very good bell ringing there for Ms. V. Okay, so SoFi doesn't look like it's going to give us that, but we still have to wait for it to pump down. We were going to look at this. Maybe we got a trade in there. Okay, Palantir. So here we go. We get that Palantir long, very, very similar to what we had yesterday. Right now, long at 91 on Palantir. So we'll see if we have some boost up possibilities. We are going to wait for 1870. We talked about that. I already have my stop order in, man. An 1860 break right here on Palantir. We're out of Palantir if it does break that. There's AMC. Initial position started right now. We'll get some out. Bang! Right there for AMC right now. A nice little trade there. Long 30s. It's up to 60 right now. We take a piece out. Let's go AMC. Let's go Palantir. 2 positions right now.
Yeah, I mean, IronNet's down at 480, so that's already 25 points in the money here. I just got that KXIN, which we quickly were telling you we're going to short the pop at the open on KXIN. It's now back to 155. I got 160s. I'll start gaining out in front of 150, then 145. You kind of know the drill when it comes to that. AMD starting to come down through 46, so that dip buy looking like it's going to come into play. And then the other one I wanted to see up at the top was Roku. So it goes up to that 211 area. These wicks are kind of ugly to 211.15, so I want to see how it trades at 211 in particular. If it holds below, I wanted to enter the short, but yeah, there we go. Now that it stabilizes, it looks like Roku's going to break out, so I might have to dump that plan. And then I did say I would sit on the Global Foundries bid for the first time in a while. I just picked that up at 61 in front of 60 even. So the only long I got in right now was a dip buy in Global Foundries. Was that Brendan?
AT&T on the upgrade side of the board this morning for the first time in a long time. Huge move out of the gate here through the pre-market high all the way up to 23 on volume, guys, for T.
Fire right now. Chicken dinner winners on AMC. We'll fire it off right now. We'll dance it away. Not super chicken. Those are whole chickens. Right now is AMC 25.30. We buy that. We're out of 2/3 of that already. And we did take a dime piece all the way up to 19 there. 91s to 19, almost a dime on Palantir for a quarter of the position. We'll wait to see that. The only thing that's not hot fire right now is AMD as we continue to go down. Man, we called this market move down. I don't know why we're sitting on these bids right now, but we called this market move down right there on the sticky note. Thanks for the love on that. Thanks for the comments. But right now we are stuck trying to buy some of these dips. There goes AMD right now. We're long at 21. It's 50, 60, 70. Let's go. We're sitting on the offer. Boom. There it is right there, man. We're going nuts right now today as well, man. We'll floss that off as AMD, Neil, 147. We are $1 plus now in the money on AMD. We cruising. We cooking with gas here. AMD AMD, man, buy the best and always do it. Let's go AMD, $1 plus in the money.
Yeah, I mean, that's weird. It didn't even get nowhere close to that 145 level. So AMD actually 146. I mean, I liked it at 145 for the dip buy, so you're not going to see me in AMD. I just didn't want to violate the rules. I got into this AVCT, which was another one. I mentioned this one in the chat for a pop and fade trade. I don't know, some of you guys early on might have seen this one. 182 is the top. It's a double top if you go back on the higher time frame. I got a 175 short, so we'll see if that one starts to come in. Reload time on IronNet is it just gave me another crack at 510. I'll take it all day. Was that Brendan again?
Chinese name BEKE, trying to bounce back here. A nice move from 18 back to 19. There was a short report from Muddy Waters out this morning saying they're short this KE Holdings. Again, BEKE back positive now.
All right, so I'm just looking over, like, see, this is what I do. Like, I have my sticky note here, and I always look it over to find some key levels because we talked about them, and then we have to forget about them a little bit. But here goes, well, we don't have to, but sometimes we do. 1480 for SoFi. So, you know, when we get into position, you know, stocks are going to react certain ways, especially in the first 3, 4, 5 minutes. So you just got to make sure. Thank you, Ms. V. The NASDAQ did turn red there, so I'm going to move this so I don't spill it over deal or something. And the NASDAQ did turn red. It's trying to bounce off right now. So we do have some of these bids in. We have some decent prices. We are going. Looks like we're going to have to at some point here average into SoFi because that's not treating itself properly. But you do have a 15 bid, so I think that down in here, you know, 1505, 1506, something like that, because we're already in now at 26. So we're 6 cents out, no big deal. We'll wait to see where that goes. Now, I mean, now we're flat on it. So there we go. That's what I'm talking about for the first couple minutes. We'll see if we do bounce around. But SoFi, I do like to average into this. My ultimate out's going to be here around 1480. So we'll see if the market holds up today. But we'll get some more at 15 and change here on SoFi. That's my next play.
Yeah, and I just finally got a bid in on AMD that came to that 145 price level. So it just ticked me in. We've held 16.3 on the NASDAQ. So that's a pretty decent sign. If 16.3 is going to hold, I think we're okay. I'll always, when we dip by at this time, try to scalp some out there and try and take some quick profit. I do want to check in on an EV name that we might not have mentioned, Lucid here. Lucid under a little bit of pressure at the open. Just want to quickly show you. That's that big 42 level that it had. As it tries to get back up here, there was a failed break right in the afternoon at this price. Lucid could be one for an interesting fade. I kind of thought this would be something that Roku would be doing, but Lucid below 42. It has a chance to break out that price, but below 42, it looks like a bit of a short. I can already ring the Reggie, and I don't even know why I'm hitting that key because I'm on that board for some reason. But just took first leg out AMD, it just broke 146. So regardless of where you try to buy it, the first time through worked at 46, the second time through at 45 worked. Looks like it's respecting those dollar levels, but add Lucid to the list. I want to short in front of 42 even.
Yeah, okay. We actually, this is crazy. AMD is wild right now. Back up to 140. I mean, it's just bouncing around dollars right now. We did take another bid here at 145.50. We're waiting for this 144. Obviously, if that does crack, then we got to get out of the way here. But we're going to be averaging into this one all the way down, and then we'll just see where we go. Actually, I have to sort this alphabetically. We are down here at 145 again, waiting to get some more shares here in this name. But for right now, it looks like my thesis of the market going down is happening, but I don't have any shorts, so we got to find one there. The only thing that's holding up right now is AMC. It dips down to that 25 level that we had marked again on here, but we are trying to defend this 24.50 area. So that's going to be an area to look at. And Palantir, again, bouncing around, man. Ooh. Where was my bid down here? Palantir bidding 71s I was. It went to 73. Darn it. That would have looked like a good bid there. But now right back upside. So let's adjust this maybe to 75. It looks like there was some buyers down there. We missed it by 3 pennies on the reload. That kind of sucks. So that's Palantir. SoFi, everything's just bouncing around, man. The only thing that's kind of heading southbound here that we don't really like is AMD. So we'll have to wait to see if that can bounce. We just reloaded down on the downside. We're long at 145.55. So we're only out 30 cents here on AMD.
And just going to try and get it. There's a reload in IronNet. So it does a couple of pops below 5. I'm able to get 490s and 485. Then we got 498s out. And now we're going to be short at the quarter mark in front of 550. If it takes out this 550 level, I'm going to cover. I'm going to get out, take the hit, and then look for a reload. I do not want to play the long. Understand it's a low floater and that it can be prone to some spikes. But overall, if I'm going to be in short something, there it is. Actually, it just came back down to 510. So I'll see if I can't take some profit. I want to be shorting pops in this name. The same way I was looking for Lucid, but I just think IronNet, if it does find a rejection point like it just did on a spike, it could be an all-day type of a hold. I am in Global Foundries. It's just you're seeing a lot of crazy action off of the open, in specifically in AMD, and I think maybe to a certain extent, NVIDIA is doing the same. Come on, load the chart. Global Foundries actually held 61, so it's not as crazy whipsaw action. It's holding this level. I like it all the way to 60. I'm not even on the offer. Like, I like 60 as a stop. I'm not going to get out until it gets up to like a 62.5, 63, which I guess I could sit on the offer for some of that. So I will get an offer out, but I want it breaking out that high. If the market doesn't reverse and we actually continue downside, you might see me change my tone. But as long as it wants to respect this level that it ran up to in the aftermarket and the 61 close, I feel like I want to kind of want to hold tight. IronNet is I don't know, man. Like, just that is really, really loud. I apologize in advance. If that was really loud for you guys, I apologize. I had no idea it would be that loud on our end. But IronNet just gave me another exit down around that $5 mark. We just got the fade off of 550. So every spike, I want to be fading this IronNet and then continue to run that to the downside. Tesla, if you are keeping track, as the market is now starting to crack a little bit further down, we were joking about, like, would you take Tesla off 1,000? And I would never take a trade off of a dare, but it had more to do with the timing of I'm just not getting into Tesla at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's just, I'd never make that trade. It looks like we are breaking that 980 level. The next key one to me would be if we get down towards what was this resistance here at about 970. So 965, 970 for Tesla. 1,000 fade would have worked, but you can't take a trade because of a dare.
Nah. Well, you
could.
but,
It's just not a good idea.
Yeah, don't hit that again. Apparently, that blew everybody's
my apologies. I had no idea that would
We
happen.
thought we were working on that sound. I'm pretty sure Rob is, but you guys know how that works. What's up, Brendo?
Someone said yesterday, short Rob. Adobe. Adobe, guys, back to 580 here, trying to test that level in the pre-market once again. Volume back into Adobe.
Sorry, that was Adobe. Yeah, I mean, Adobe. I don't know, this would have been an interesting day trade. Why is that still on Tesla? This would have been an interesting day trade if the stock was, I think, a little bit more calm and the spreads weren't so insane in the pre-market, because it did give you this sort of pop and fade style idea off that earnings report. Now, if it comes back to 590, I'm looking to see if it finds a bit of resistance to that level. And it's not similar to IronNet. It's nothing like IronNet, but the same thing where it goes up to a pre-market high. And if it rejects that, I would like to try to get involved. I am in this KXIN and just got into Lucid, starting that position in front of 42. KXIN has not been able to break this 550, so I have to be careful here. This $1.50, I should say. I'm short on this one at $1.60. I don't want it getting past that 170 mark, and I want to see if I can start taking some profit. It looks okay for now, but it is finding a bit of a base at that 150 level that I have to have at least some concern about.
Okay, so I don't know. Again, I'm waiting at 75. This thing goes to 80, Palantir. Now it's trying to go break back above. So we're still long at 91. And I mean, we're just taking it out as it's having a problem breaking 19. If we can get breakthrough 19, then I do think we can retest this 1915 or 1920 level here on Palantir. Obviously, we're going to need the market to behave a little bit. And I mean, I mentioned that this market was going to be southbound a little bit today, and I mentioned it right here. So, I mean, now you're all the way to the downside. I just wish I had a trade on so I could make money on my calls at some point. So that would have been nice. But okay, so here we are. We did get out of some SoFi there. So SoFi does bounce back up. Our average price not great on this one, 15.21, but we're trying to let some of these breathe. We expected the market to pull back, like we said. With that expectation, I'm going to sit here and try to play some of these trades that I think has a chance to go. But again, the market pulling back in here. If we zoom this out a little bit, I don't know. Okay, hopefully my chart can load. I was trying to find yesterday at 2 p.m. This is that bottom 15.8, let's call it, right? So if you come back here, we're still at 16.2, so a long way to go back down to tomorrow. So if you think that we can't, retrace back down even further than this, then you got something else coming, because a lot of these stocks right now that moved yesterday pretty nice to the upside are struggling right now on the downside. So let's wait to see if it does get a bump up here. I'm still going to hold some of these bags. We did get longer on AMD down there at 144. So there it is, man. My last AMD bid, man, 140. 144.25, and then just as we bid that, it ripped up to 145. So, like I said, this has just been a crazy ride. But we do have a lot of shares on board now for AMD, not for SoFi, but more for AMD here. So hopefully that can continue to work. But if we do crack below this 144, like it looks like we're going to do, then we got to get out of the way. So, this might be a little bit of a bloodbath here to start with. But again, once things settle down, I think we can pick up some good value on some of these names. Just hopefully we don't get cracked out.
Yeah, I'll be doing my backflips, and hopefully this isn't loud, over IronNet, because it just broke back to that 5 level. So this looks like, in the market coming down, it's like hold on to the dogs if you have them to the short side, and then just try to find support, because I'm in the AMD as well, and I'm also in Global Foundries, which, if that breaks 60, I'm just going to walk away from the trade. I wanted to give it that buck, and I was trying to take $1.50 on it. KXIN starting to work for me here. And then the new entrant for me was, with the market coming down here, the ability to take Lucid off of this 42 area, let alone this opening range top, it has at 41.65. So I'm kind of sitting in this short, and it's, Lucid's just going back and forth in this range. It's not really doing a heck of a lot. Now it's starting to fall off, but if I'm 50 to 60 cents away from that resistance area at the top, I don't want to be taking profit until, like now, it tries to break that 41 and head towards the low. So you have to give these some room. Like, we're post-Fed, the market is moving here. You've got to give some of these room, not just if you're long in front of some key levels, but if you're short in the money, I don't want to be taking profit too early, because if Lucid turns red and stays red, I think it could be headed back down towards that low of the day. Also in the EV space, just to give you an idea of what I'm kind of thinking Lucid could have done, this is NIO with exactly the same move, and it's actually at its lows of the day. I like Lucid for the 42 offer. I knew where I'd be wrong on Lucid. I couldn't necessarily have said the same thing about NIO with the same amount of confidence. That's the only reason I picked Lucid here. It's more about that entry area than anything else. I mean, clearly that would have worked here if you took it in NIO. I just didn't know where my out would have been.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, I'm going to take a little piece out there at 60 as now AMD. I mean, this is where we're long. We're long at 80. So we have like I said, a decent position here. So let's see if AMD can continue to work. And then, I'm just kind of resting on these positions. And we talked about that. It's not that I'm not getting aggressive here. I mean, I am. And I've averaged in to a name that I like. And we've been able to take it out. But again, we do have that 144 spot that will crank us out and not be a great trade. Palantir, again, man, bounces off 80. I'm still waiting down here at 75. I want to see what we do, because ultimately my kill spots here is going to be 18 flat. We do have SoFi starting to move back upside as well. So I think if the market battles back here, we do have some names that we like. We will talk about AMC when we get back from Brendan.
IT services company Infosys, all-time highs. INFY, big move here this morning. They announced late yesterday a new agreement, or an extension of a new agreement with the Australian Open, the tennis tournament, on the technology side. So a nice look here for INFY, up 4.8%.
All right, now we're starting to cook with gas. So we just talked about that. I was going to say that we're just going to bid 25. I'm surprised they don't have that. Our out was going to be down here near 24.50. So I don't know why we didn't bid 25 there. It looks like just distracted by the thing. So we'll put that there now. But look what the hell is happening right now, guys. This is what happens when you believe in your trades, honestly, and you put on like some decent sizes. You can get rewarded handsomely right now as AMD rocking and rolling. Big time movement to the upside. Now we just turned our net around like 5-fold right there on this move back to the upside. So probably more than that, as things are starting to get elevated right here. There goes our friend Palantir. We talked about that one again. So let's just keep hitting the chicken dinner winners for now. We'll get some out at Palantir because we did break above that 19. But right now we're 4 for 4. AMC, AMD, Palantir, SoFi, all in the money. Let's just keep this party going.
Market getting a little bit of a bounce, 4,700 on the ES, which also maintains positivity, and 16.2 on the NASDAQ. Not at VWAP yet on AMD. I'm sitting at 145 and change to get our next out there. See if we can catch that dip on AMC. Lucid's going to give me that close to 42 area. That's where I want to average into it. I did get that KXIN, and look, someone's saying look at that BKE, and I would look at other symbols here, but I already have as many as I will ever take at the open. And when we hit that level, you definitely want to make sure that you're just managing what you have. So I got the 2 longs. We've got the 4 shorts on. Most of those are in small cap names. There you go, KXIN. But here's that 150 level I mentioned on KXIN. It's held a couple of times, so you take the 10-cent winner. I am sitting down for like 20 cents or so on a dollar stock. You got to be happy with it, but trying to catch a bid at that 150. Once it breaks this level, I feel like that could be a kind of like a short the rest of the day kind of scenario. And Tesla, by the way, getting real close. So it's at that 965 to 970 area about to come into play here as it's still off the bottom. I just saw AMD bounce. I just saw the market try to bounce. Tesla just turned red and is staying there. So I think that would bode well for the Lucid short, which I'm trying to get some more shares of. Tesla, it just feels like every now and then it's relatively weak, and this looks like another one of those days.
Guys, I sold Tesla at 1022, talking about how weak it was, and then I said that's probably a down day for Tesla today. So let's wait to see what does happen. That's why we're not in it. Palantir, we took some out there. SoFi is really the only problem for me here, and it was just unbelievable. The market tried to rip there, and it did do a nice move. So did SoFi, but then for some reason it's like bang, just hammered down again. So we are now well aware of where VWAP is and everything on SoFi. So if that comes back upside, we will get that one out. And thank you again, Dominic and everybody there. Dominic, check out Snacks up 20%. We will look at that. SNAX. I don't know if Brendan's brought that to us or not. He'll find out if there's news on that one. But yeah, people said there's real. Oh yeah, here it is right here. Was it Dominic or who was this here? Sean raised up his voice. That's real trading. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I get excited, man. Like right now with AMD, I mean, we put on a real position. I mean, these are all averages in. This one's not great, but we did talk about it on our sticky note. Like, you want to talk about a sticky note, guys? We'll talk about this after, but it's all on here. My levels of concern are on here. Let's go, AMD. To the moon you go. What's up, Brendo?
Nice move for that Snacks, guys. Major increase in deliveries to both Costco and Walmart. Distribution increases announced this morning for Snacks on the move.
That'll do it. I mean, those are the big boys, so obviously that's going to be good. If I've never heard of a company and you're going to have distribution deals with Walmart and Costco, that's going to be good for them. Here's 62 on Global Foundry, so it's trying to break this offer here. I just got a leg out of AMD for a buck again, but Global Foundries, once it breaks 62, I am looking to cover some in front of high of the day, and then if we take out the high of the day, I just want to be holding it. I'd put it in a trailing stop if it breaks that 63 high, but Global Foundries, a bit of a nice bid. Of course, if the market's going to put in a bid, and the chip names are going to run, Global Foundries is in that space, so I'd anticipate that it should be able to go. That IronNet, just to check back in on it, if it comes up again to 550, I'll try to get that fade a little bit more aggressively, but it's now barcoding at around $5. That's a godsend level, that 550 area, but the market trying to bounce here. This is why you short the junk, because even in that market rally, IronNet hasn't really budged off of these levels, and of course, that's what happens to you. Adobe, we wanted to check back in on. If only because they were beaten up on those earnings. It's right at that 590 level, if this is a load for me. It's right at that 590 level that we talked about in the pre-market. If it can find a consolidation here, that could be good for a decent size rollover. Oh, come on, we're so close to our target there on Global Foundries, but didn't quite get it.
All right, we're getting some nice targets here. We talked about getting out on Palantir if we did break above, and we just got a 1912 bid there, so that's a great position, a great opportunity to get out, so we do that there. $1 and change in the money, just killing AMD today, and then we didn't get the reload on AMC, which we did, but that's now back into the money. And then another name here that I did want to talk about, join me, follow me on Twitter. We put out this note, look at Ford. More innovation with ProCharge today. Long, if we get back to 20, look for dips to buy all day. So then why am I not in Ford? Well, you know what? We called the long, and the long has come in. It's just I didn't have any buys on this name. We should have bought some of these dips, but it didn't really dip to where we thought it would. We thought at least 50s. But yeah, nowhere. I mean, my bid on Ford was that
really dipped.
No, well, no, it just bounced off here. But 50 was a good level, and now you're up to 21. Again, this name in my account just keeps on blasting off. Now I feel bad getting some out. Remember when this stock, and I think it was Jude, you probably remember if you're on here, when I said that this thing had a multiple, I can't remember what it was at that time, sales to earnings ratio there and multiple, and I gave this a 20 to 20, I think it was 18 to 20 price target. So we are well off, and there goes Ford, man. Rip City now for Ford to the upside. So it continues to work, man. Congratulations, anybody that's bought this with me over the last 12 months. An absolute monster goes Ford. So that printing press, man, for me is just like going brr right now as the cash register explodes on Ford to the upside. AMD, Palantir, AMC all in the money. We just got to sort of massage this SoFi. This doesn't look like it wants to do anything right now, guys. SoFi, negative Nancy.
Speaking of fintech there, this is my segue. You said negative Nancy on SoFi. Affirm made a bottom at 109, and it's having some trouble getting through the top. So you're getting a good rebound here, but Affirm having some trouble here at about this 113-ish area. And that's incidentally, like after the Fed push, that was that high. It was right at here at 113 that it made the top at 330, and that is the exact same level that it's resisting. So I don't know, we'll call it the euphoria, the Fed euphoria high, and it has 1 wick above that particular price. I like Affirm, don't get me wrong, like I like the company, but if we barcode around here for too long, I think this is going to turn into a bit of a short. I might adjust my first target on Global Foundries because the market's about to turn red here. Whoops, I keep typing in New York, and that's actually a tech company, which is on the NASDAQ, believe it or not. So I'm going to see if I can't take like the first leg for the buck on Global Foundries just to bank something because the market is starting to turn right back around here. And what I don't want to happen is, see what I mean? Like the NASDAQ starting to test right back towards those lows. You get in the money on this. I got to be able to take that profit. I like the fact that it was still holding up at some of those highs on that bounce while the market turned, but you got to be able to bank it when you see this reversal in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very important. I mean, take some profits if you could find some. We are averaging back into AMD. We do have that out there. So if the market continues to fall, we do have some protection on the downside. Good out there on some Palantir. My eyes are just going up here. I have the hot list looking for some new names.
Oh,
I'm still holding SoFi, guys. This is going to be a disaster. I do have the out at near here. So we're going to take one more bid. Where is my bid? I have a 1485 bid coming on SoFi. So if that comes through, and then we could just zoom this out. I like this 1480 level. Like once again, man, like I talk about liking certain levels, and I should just wait to load up instead of taking it so early here on SoFi. But there's that 1480 level. We'll see if that comes into play. I'm bidding 85. Like, I mean, I can show you this on here, and of course it bounces off 86. So here we go. I mean, look, I won't even put, just wait to see if it comes back down. We'll bid some 85. Here it comes. So we'll take some 85s, and we're going to watch out for what happens here at this 1480 level. That's going to be an area of concern for me. So here comes 85s. We'll get some more SoFi in. Hopefully we will. Maybe we won't. Like there it goes. We bounce off 86 again. So we'll have to buy some more SoFi now, I guess, as our price is pretty damn good. But it looks like it's too good. It bounced off of us twice there. So let's see if we get some 85s at some point. I may just up it to like 87. What's the difference?
Yeah, when the market runs from your price, it usually means you picked a good one, but sometimes it's like it's so good it's an obvious one. This is a weird price on ABCT. We mentioned 182, but if you go back a few sessions, on the big flush just had from 270 down to 160, the afternoon resistance was at $1.82. So on the bounce off of one, pre-market high $1.82, and it just spiked to $1.82. So I re-upped the short here at 75. I'll add some more at 78, 79. My stop is an obvious one. 182 because I just said that like 1,000 times. And again, if it wicks above that level and I get sort of stopped out and then it's a failed break, I might try to re-enter the trade. But that is a hard stop for me off a level like that on ABCT. Not to get this one confused with KXIN, but that's also making a bit of a recovery back into the upside. I like 175, and this is that level right, 170, and this is that level right here as my out. I've just re-upped that one as well in front of this level and look to add a few more shares in front of that 170. And then again, I'm covering this one at $1.50. I'll probably take some shares out at 155 if I get 10 to 15 cent winners because that's a pretty decent return on a $1.70 stock. AMD is starting to level off here at 144, so hopefully Global Foundries. I think both of those are very, very similar plays, but Tesla is showing zero signs of stopping its decline, by the way.
Yeah, Tesla, like I said, man, I'm really happy that we sold that north of 1,000. I'm hoping to get back in, of course. I like the name. And this is how wild AMD's been today, guys. AMD, look at this. Like, we just got a 144.36, and then we just took it out at 84. So, yeah, we're battling with AMD here, but we keep taking it out when it starts to pop a little bit higher here. So let's wait to see what happens now as it looks like it's taking higher, comes to the downside as the NASDAQ. Like we said, man, we wrote this early. I'm not going to show the sticky note anymore, but we already wrote it down that we were expecting the market to go southbound. So, and unfortunately, I don't have any shorts on. We're picking up value now. I think this, it's good now. I'm happy we're down that 0.5%. I think we can bounce from here. So we'll continue to hold our AMD, our Palantir, 11 cents in the money. We just took another piece out there at 03. So that's a good trade. We're waiting to get some more AMC down here as well, near 25. Super chat, thank you so much. We don't want to ignore super chats. And so, whoa, it just disappeared. Oh man, where was it? It was about here, it was here. So thank you so much for Mark, the realtor. I may be selling my house soon, probably not, but I can't believe the housing prices here in the GTA are absolutely nuts. Like I don't even want to talk about it anymore. But watch Visa and Facebook. I love Facebook. I'm not in Visa. Facebook is actually one of my largest long-term holdings right now. So let's go over here and look at Meta, and we'll see exactly what Facebook is up to right now. Yeah, negative move here down to 338. Looks like it's getting bought up. Pretty choppy right now, though, Mr. Realtor, and we'll just wait to see if it takes. I mean, I'd rather take it if we take back above here. It's not down that much considering the market, but I do like Facebook. More work needs to be done on this one. Unfortunately, Mark, I believe it was, or was it Mark? Before I say what is the wrong name was here, let's see. Yeah, Mark the Realtor. Okay, I do want to still focus on the positions I have a little more risk on and actually positions I'm in. So AMD right now, I'm going to go back over to that. 40 cents in the money might take a piece out.
I just got some out in front of 145. And essentially, if you look, first out was in front of 46. The second out was in front of 145.50. The last out was in front of 145. You notice that has been descending, as have the buys been descending as well, in front of that 144. First step in at 45, then step in at 144.50. This is like that last ditch. If it breaks out that 144 to the downside, I'm going to be done with the dip buying on AMD. Global Foundries was more of a one and done kind of play. AVCT did come right up to that 182 again. If we can now hold a consolidation around 76 to 78, I think it could stabilize. But that's such an interesting level. That 182 has an obvious seller on that particular stock. And then there was that crazy CALT. If something had happened here, I mean, I'd be more interested in, say, couldn't hold. It's bounced off this 25 so many times, and I stick to my plan. If it holds below 25 for any given period of time, then I'm looking for it to be a short. That just has not happened. So I know it's one of the, I guess, higher flyers this morning, but not showing any price action that I like. I'm not going to force my way into that position, although it is getting close. I mean, it's showing some weakness and could hold below that 25 shortly. It just hasn't happened yet.
I can't believe, and we're going to look at some new names here, but I can't believe SoFi is just like doing this again. Like it goes all the way up here and stops and then just reverses right to the backside there. HUD 8 on the way down there. AMD finally cracked lower there, breaking through 144. So there it goes out of that trade. We'll see. I still think there's opportunities to get back in there, but again, not going to be a good trade there on AMD. The last couple bids fell through. So we tried to defend 143 there. It looks like we missed it, but it was hopefully, we'll just, yeah, there it goes. I was going to say maybe it was making that wick there for that bottom and we can find some buyers, but right now it doesn't look like AMD wants to continue. And we talked about the market. I'm just pissed off right now, honestly, because normally we have this, like when we call a market to go a certain way and then it actually goes that way, we should be getting paid off. And instead, I was trying to buy some dips. So we should have reversed into some of these shorts when we saw this kind of stuff happening. So right now, there goes AMD. We're out of it, so we don't have to worry. But let's try to find some value here in something short.
Yeah, I mean, shorting the small caps isn't the same thing. Like you wanted to find a big cap name that's going to make you that's going to go here. Just to pick on a little bit of a something here, Robinhood. This is embarrassing because I don't know how many times I've probably dinged Robinhood over the last couple of days. This should have been the play. I can't believe it went to $20 here. Just went to $20 and then a hard reverse off of 20, now breaking below 19. And if you talk about how bad the stock has been, look at this 20 level here on Robinhood. I tend to think if it can hold below about 19.25 or so, that could be an entry point on a short pop. But what is bad sometimes gets worse. Just noticed that on Robinhood here. 10 o'clock already. Let's go to Brendan 4 happening now.
Hey guys, yeah, quick look at North American markets. Here we go, back in positive territory. Good to see for the Dow and the S&P. Anyway, yeah, we won't talk about the NASDAQ yet. The Russell, all three, 1, 2, and 3,000 in positive territory so far today as well. It is tech, though, that's leading to the downside so far. The 100, NASDAQ 100, 0.8%. The NASDAQ composite, 0.5%. We are positive here in Toronto, up about 0.5% for the TSX. A few things from the pre-market. We were discussing Ford gave you a nice break above that pre-market high. We're coming back to about 2080, though, at the moment on a pullback for Ford, still up 3%. And Delta had some positive news in the pre-market. Back to the downside, though. We're basically back to where we ended the day yesterday. 36.5 would be that, where we ended the day yesterday. Delta, rest of the airlines, in fact, giving it all back. Happening now, brought to you by Masterworks, guys, the first and only investment platform you can use to invest in SEC securitized artworks, currently valued at $1.7 trillion. Contemporary art has outpaced the S&P 500 by a staggering 174% from 1995 to 2020. The only way to invest in contemporary art now is to join Masterworks. Over 275,000 users currently. They just raised $110 million in a Series A funding at a valuation north of $1 billion, guys. Go to masterworks.io and register now, guys.
Yes,
$1 billion. I mean,
$1 trillion.
we like numbers with a B. So this market's starting to accelerate to the downside. And as much as I like the price area in global foundries, I'm glad we adjusted to take profit out here at 62 when there was some liquidity, because now 142 is why you have to give up some of the trades. Like, now 142 on AMD. I don't know how much longer global foundries is going to be able to hold this 61 level. And if it does break it, I don't know if I want to give it back down to 60 even. It's showing some relative strength. Still up on the session, believe it or not, but it's showing some relative strength. But if it retakes this 61 area, I might just give it to like 60.85. So it's working for now. I just kind of feel with this acceleration to the downside, it might be giving me an opportunity to tighten up my stop on the last of these shares. Only long I got left on. Everything else is to that short side. IronNet, it's still at $5. Whoops, IronNet's on the New York. It's still at that $5 level. It's managing to hold up pretty nice, and we've had some pretty good short pops here. But if it doesn't break 5 pretty soon, I think we're going to be looking at a retest of that 550, where I do plan still on going short one more time on this. I'm kind of going to short every single pop until 550 breaks on that name.
Short the pop, short the pops. Oh, I threw my... Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, you did.
I threw it. 1870. So I don't even have anything else here for Palantir. We'll wait to see what does happen. Obviously, it's a nice move down here for Palantir. That's why we clean this out, man. I mean, and I'm trying to get better at doing this. When trades go into the money, we need to make sure that we take them out, because if we're going to keep averaging down, eventually you get absolutely destroyed on average downs, right? Because you wind up losing way more than you make when you're right, because you average down, you have a max position, and then when you get out, when you're averaging out, you're just taking pieces out, right? So I can explain that better if we look at the AMD chart a little bit later. But right now, Palantir, our average price is 79. So we talked about that again on the sticky note, looking at 1870. So now that Palantir is coming back in a little bit here, we're long at 79. The market, I don't know what it wants to do. Well, let's take a piece out if it comes back up to 79, just a small piece, like 10% or so, and then just to relieve some of this pressure, because right now, man, the market doesn't look like it has any love to this. Now down. Shoot, man, like I can't believe it.
I cannot believe I'm not short
At
Robinhood.
7:30, I wrote it on the goddamn sticky note. I'm not even doing the sticky notes anymore, man, because, like, honestly, I'm not even listening to my own thing. Like, what are we short here? Like,
look, man, we're trash talking Robinhood for a while. I mean, like, I'm not trying to pick on a stock. I'm just sort of saying, like, Robinhood, its overall weakness is undeniable, and there could be a short pop opportunity. I sit there losing a short pop on Lucid, and I have the small caps, but it's like, that's a gift. It's absolutely gift for you, the 930 pop and a fade at an even dollar price at 20. And I'm now sitting here trying to see if it can't get back to 1925 or so I can be a part of this move. And it is what it is. Like, you're going to miss out on some of these chances. Global Foundries looks like that's going to probably stop me out. There was a couple of names here that I was looking at that we got away from, and one of those was a firm. I talked about that 113 showing some weakness there, and I never found my way into that short as it kind of spiked up, and it's like, oh crap, it's going to go to the high. I'll wait till 115, and then it just immediately reversed. So it looks like the fintech names are still under a little bit of pressure here, as a firm just went into negative territory one more time. Like I said, I'll hang on to what we got. AVCT could take out that high, though. So even in the small cap space, there are some reversals going on. So AVCT, it's like I should listen to myself a little bit better. That 182 level, and I'm shorting it at 75, 77, when it would have given me like 79, 80s, 81s. And I know that's nitpicking, but on essentially a penny stock, you do want to try to nitpick, because those pennies actually matter when you're only expecting 5, 10, 20 cent type moves. If you can save yourself 3 or 4 pennies on the entry, it makes sense to do so. And that's going to cost me here on AVCT.
Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. Good thing we got out at 144, because now AMD's at 142. So again, as day traders, man, you might look at like the way we're trading, and it's going to be probably a lot different than the way you guys trade at home. We have the ability to scalp in and out, and we actually get paid to add liquidity sometimes. There's multiple ways. It's make or take or fee. Hopefully a lot of you know about that. We will go over that more in detail later. But that's letting me do a lot of these trades. Like I already had 19 fills here on AMD today, right? And my fees on AMD are a whopping, I can't even find my fees here. I think it's like $3 or something. I'll find it after. I don't even have my fees like marked because it doesn't really ever matter. But okay, so we take another shot. This was light because, again, if we look at a 20-minute chart here on AMD, there is a lot of levels, man. This could continue to crack down. So we'll take a small piece here just to kind of watch this thing. I do think there is an opportunity right in around here. This high is 141.50. We have 141.50 back into here, right? We had a monster move up yesterday. We talked about that. That starts at 2 p.m. But before 2 p.m., this stock was heading downside. So there is some, issues here with AMD continuing to fall down. So I think we got to wait for this 141-ish area now. So we'll put on a decent position if we can get back into that spot. Otherwise, we hold AMD until we get back here to VWAP. I'm not going to average in until we get down to that 141. That's going to be my kill spot. You have to have a kill spot because if you don't, then you're going to get killed. And mine right now on SoFi is about that spot right now. Getting down to the 60 level, not good. So we'll wait to see where SoFi can go. But so far, so bad on SoFi. As we thought it could hold. We talked about this 1480 level. That's where we put that on. My average price is 1510. Not good. It looks like we could take a 30-40 cent hit here on SoFi, especially if this doesn't bounce, but it doesn't look like it. So we may get clocked out here on SoFi, guys.
Yeah, I was just someone mentioned this. Juan, you're asking about ASRT. There's no volume on the stock. 600,000 shares on a day like today, and it's got a wide range. So when there's no volume, you've got to stick to the peripheries of the range. It's got a hard 165 top here, and by hard top I mean it's essentially a double top, and then it's just been playing back and forth in a 30-cent range. So not interesting unless it breaks out of this, or you can catch it off a $1.30. My inclination would be on low volume that you're shorting in front of 165. That's just the way I would be playing it personally. Just going to go back over to, we're back below $5 on IronNet, so I once again feel pretty comfortable about it. I'm liking the fact that, oddly enough, like Global Foundries is holding in the money here. Like we just got the 142 on AMD. Global Foundries has now managed to find a bid once again. So if this market turns around, I'm not going to get this out in front of the high of the day. If this market turns around, the relative strength that Global Foundries has, it could take out that high of day. And speaking about relative strength, you can't talk about it without noticing the reversal that just happened in Pfizer. As usual, it just completely, it's showing you how ridiculously strong it is in that vaccine play. Up to $60. It's getting, if Pfizer breaks $60, I am 100% trimming some of my Pfizer because it's actually ended up being too big of a weight. It just was never intended to be that big of a weight for me in my personal account. $60 on Pfizer, getting close, $59.96. Also for the day trade, if I see a monster offer and I'm talking like several hundred thousand at 60 on Pfizer, it could be worth it for that scalp 97, 98, 99 short. I'm not saying I saw size there, but if I were to see it, it could be worth it for that play.
All right. So, I mean, I'm really glad we got out of AMD now at 144, but you can see where we're going right now to 141. Like, this is just, these are the kill spots. I mean, it's just a tank here on AMD today. Down 4%. We've seen this name get crushed a couple days now in a row, actually. Yesterday was relief rally time for AMD, but you've seen it's been a very, very negative stock over the last couple days. Exactly touching 130 down there. I think that's a reload spot. We actually talked about that this morning a little bit there, that if you bought AMD at some of these levels, you do have some outs that can give you down to 130 if you did put on a real big position, like a swing trade position. I think I like AMD at these levels for a swing because your out could easily be, and let me just show you a daily chart here. Someone asked, we got a super chat there and I didn't mean to ignore it. I was going to say AMD. I'm just busy trading it right now. If you can see this, you do have AMD right here at 130. So this little dump down level right here, I think if you went long, like about now, 140 on AMD, you have a $10 risk to the downside. You can get out for $10 hit. Otherwise, if the market continues to work like I think it will, especially Santa Claus rally, I think that you can get AMD back to like 160, maybe a little bit even higher than that, and then you can play with fire on that spot because you can get out of half for your $10 winner. So if it drops down again, another $10, you're still laughing. So, so far so good. We reloaded on AMD, and let's see if that works right down there. Look at that reload at 141. So hopefully that can work, and we can make everything back on AMD. We just need a $1 push here. What's up, B?
Not seeing much of a specific reason for this, but Amgen having a huge day, guys. Up about 5%, just tagged day highs anyways, 5%. 2 or 3 days in a row here. Nice move for AMGN.
Yeah, and I did take that Pfizer trade in front of 60. There was about 100,000 shares or so on that offer. It's not gigantic, so because it's not a huge level, I'm not really making that play for, 59, 97, 98, and only giving it 2 cents. I'm actually going to be shorting it 10 cents away and trying to make more of a, I guess, momentum style play. Like I'm not going to take profit till it gets down to the quarters and then down to that 50 level. I'm looking to get a little bit more run on this. If I was shorting it off of like a million size, that would be taking a 2 to 3 cent hit to try and take 10 cents. I think I'm looking for a little bit more than that. Pfizer, great name. It's just $60 level when it just made a huge reversal and the market's still coming down. I got to think there's going to be some profit takers here on this one. It's performed pretty well, but you got to trade the momentum, and the momentum seems like it's still to the downside. I'll be up on the stock overall, so I can't complain, but I tightened my stop on Global Foundries. And it just took it out there at 60.75. So it's been a decent trade, but I think if you're going to try to walk on the water today, you've got to make sure you take your profit on the longs on the way down, and sort of stick to your rules and stick to your gut. And that's actually saved me a bit on AMD. And if I'm going to be honest about IronNet, it's going to be the same sort of thing. Like, as much as I love how well it's been sort of flushing off some of these levels, it's not screaming to the downside anymore. So at some point, if we get back above VWAP again, I'll have to be a little bit more cautious about how I trade off that 550. I would hate for this to squeeze back to the upside and then give away the profit that was made on it.
Like, chat, I know, you know I love you guys, everybody on the chat here, right? But if you're going to want me to keep the sticky note going, like, look at AMC. Strength today should hold 24.50. Okay, that's on the sticky note. So welcome, guys. First of all, we got to get those likes up. I want to do a likes count very, very soon. So Miss V, going to get Miss V ready to go on the screen in a second here as we'll call for some likes. But look where AMD went. 24.60. And where are my bids, man? Like, I'm too distracted, doing too many things, watching this AMD trade and things like that. And this is the point. Like, when you're hosting a show and doing things like this, stock can continue to move like crazy. That's why sometimes you got to put some orders down here at some of these key levels. So I'm learning lessons every single day. And I'm about to learn one right now from Miss V. What's up?
Hey guys, it's like o'clock. I know you're busy. That's why this is the perfect time to take a quick break and give us a like. We have more than 6,000 people watching and just 1,400 likes. We would really appreciate if you help us to get 2,000 by the end of the morning show, and we need just 600 more. So guys, please turn your thumbs ups to the upside. Back to you guys.
All right, just quickly here, a big shout out to Mike. Thank you, Mike, again. I'm not wearing your shoes today. I got the other Air Force Ones on, but long live the sticky note. I'm trying to pick up some Air Jordans. I like those gray ones you sent to me. I got to look for those. But thanks for the $20 again. And yeah, I'm going to keep doing it, so don't worry about that. It's just, and we got something, I think it was the Day Trading Mom said the other day that she could barely like talk on the phone or something like that while she's trading, and let alone talk to 7,000 people and trying to make justifications for your trading. But that's what we do, man. Welcome to Trader TV Live, the realist station, the realist trading station anyways, on YouTube. I don't know, the station channel, I guess.
Channel. You can call it whatever.
Yeah, we'll call it whatever we want to. But here we go, man. Diamond Handalonis right now. As we're starting to go to the upside, we are trying to get out of some AMC at 50, or AMD, sorry, at 50. Let's go, man. We defend that 41 area like we just talked about it. I think I'm waiting literally at 50, but we should be maybe getting out a little bit here. Darn it, don't tell me we're going to fade out there, and I'm going to be pissed that we didn't get out. So let's put an offer in the 30s there. Oh, no. We were literally 3 cents away again from getting out there. Look where this went to, guys. Look where this went to. I was at 142.50. Do you want to see where that went to? 142.45. This has happened to me a numerous amount of times today, and I'm really starting to get pissed. So I'm going to have to figure out where to put these orders a little bit better. But there it goes. Hopefully AMD can reward us, and then we won't be so upset. But I'm not upset anyways. And
I got first leg on Pfizer, but it actually retested 60, faded again. I'm still only bidding in front of 59.50. There was not any more size in front of it. So I'm going to stick to the plan here. I don't think it comes all the way to 59 or VWAP, but if it can come to 50s and then 25s, I'd be perfectly happy with that return. That CALT finally, and shout out to you guys that mentioned on the chat here, broke through that 25 level. Here we go, loading up. Now I can short the pop. It gave you a good breakdown trade. I didn't have a stop order there. At the time, I was in 5 or 6 positions. So a stock like this, I didn't want to have just sort of come in and be like position number 7 and something that's already moved $4 when the open was going so crazy. But now that it's below that price, I feel pretty comfortable sitting on the offer. I'm at 24.50. We'll get some more short in front of 25 even if it happens to go. Otherwise, it's IronNet and it's Pfizer that we're going to hang on the shorts of. Pfizer, which is now continuing its push to the downside. And this is nothing against Pfizer. This is just how far it had run, and it comes to an even dollar level like a 60. Well, I'm going to pop the day trade on almost every single time. When you get a parabolic move in a stock which is not always known for parabolic moves, a lot of times that can make the snapback a little bit better. We just got second target on Pfizer, so this one's going to work for us. It can't be a loser now as I adjust my stop order, which will still be at 60. If it breaks 60, I'm out. Otherwise, I'm now holding for 59 to 59 quarters.
Okay, yeah, we're just trying to lock and load some trades here. I'm still, honestly, man, like this is a shame. Like pennies away from AMD when the spread is like 5 pennies, and I can't catch that, but whatever, let's just move on. AMD, again, another name that we're trying to get to. We do have a bid down here, sorry, AMC. We do now have a bid, near 80. It's actually coming through right now actually, I'm going to cancel this. It was at 79, but I can see that this has some more work to do now to the downside. We do have some of these buy wicks, bottom wicks that we talked about. We like those. So I think we could sit here, maybe low 70s, and we're getting to that right now, where we could buy some of them. We'll wait off that 24.50. We can't, it's unbelievable that AMD is going to break on me. That is so stupid. As the futures right now near some lows again. AMC, I should have just bought those 79s. Like, what is happening to me today? Like, that's 79 again. I just canceled, and that's right where we just bounced off of again. So I don't know, man. Hopefully we'll just sit on our hands now, let some of this relax and pull us up a little bit here in the market. Like we just canceled our 79 bid on AMC. So we'll put another bid down here again, like 70, 72 or 73. Like I can't believe it. For 5 cents, for F's sakes right now, let's just beat up this thing here, because for 5 cents I canceled the order. That's absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, it's been a good day. Like I'm not even down. I'm down today because of AMD, but I'm not really down anything. Actually, the big problem right now is not even AMD, man. It's SoFi, to be honest with you. SoFi now a nice little bounce spot there. We talked about 1480. It needs to make a move back to the upside. SoFi is my area of concern. My variant of concern right now is SoFi. What's that stopping spot there? 20s. So that's it. Let's put an offer at 30. Hopefully we get filled for something there, and then we'll make our 40 cents, and then hopefully have this bounce back upside. If this market goes, man, I like AMD.
So this ADGI is going crazy, but try to remember where this was 2 days ago. Like this stock trying to it just broke about that 750, but if it gets back, it fell off a cliff a second time at about $9.85, so call it about $10. If this continues and halts up, that $10 range is going to be an absolute wall in my opinion, let alone maybe even like $9. It's been under tremendous pressure, so as it goes gangbusters, I would have anticipated some halts on the way up here. I'm a little surprised that we haven't had a halt on ADGI just yet, but if you're in this to the long side, I would consider taking your profits and making sure that you cover some in front of a 10 or in front of some of those potential halt style moves on this name. Look, it's going crazy now, and congratulations if you've got any gains here. I'd just be a little bit concerned that when the rug gets pulled on this, you're talking about 25% type of retracement. I know it's up 28 now. Just don't get caught holding that bag, as we send you already, good timing, to the small cap recap, 10:20. Let's see Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, a few opportunities. Small cap land today. We'll talk about this fray. Mentioned just before the open here, we were getting back into some levels we haven't been to in a few months anyway. So 13 ends up being a bit of a pivot in the pre-market. Once we clearly break below that, give you an opportunity, 1280 to 13. To be on the short side, we're breaking down through to 1180 now to the downside. So fray on the way back down. Ocugen from yesterday, interesting move on the Fed announcement all the way up into 650. It breaks that to the downside right at the open. So quick fade down to 510. One and done for me on OCGN, trying to bounce right now. And the CALT, crazy move on that FDA approval that happened in the aftermarket. We get this hold, though, of 27. Very, very clear hold of 27 in the pre-market. Finally, let's go of 25, I guess that was, or maybe 24 to the downside. So 2380 right now. A huge move back to the downside for CALT as well, guys.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get into that one myself. I mean, it broke that 25, and I missed the breakdown because I didn't have a stop order out there, and that was intentional. At that time, I didn't want a 7th position coming in via stop on a stop trigger. If it gives me maybe the quarters, the 24 quarters, I'll get into it. ADGI just made another press to the high of the day, up to 834, and then a bit of a rejection. So it's showing some signs of slowing down. Like I said, I'm not really sure why it didn't hold. Whoa, monster offer here. There's a 400,000 share offer on ADGI at $8.10. So you might have just seen me get into position on it. And if it breaks that, look, I mean, if it goes above that price, I'm just going to quickly get out. It could be a fugazi. It could be a nonsense offer, like a fake offer. Fugazi is, I guess, is that really Italian for, I don't even know what the word means, but it's kind of like fake. Is that, I don't know.
That is what it means, yeah.
But it looks like it just flashed it and pulled. So if it was real, you know what? I'm going to keep there's a small offer there. It could be an iceberg. I'm going to get out at about 8.10 because that was the price I got in front of, thinking risk it to about 8.10, which is 15 cents in slippage. But they flashed a 400,000 share order. I was already thinking about shorting it off of this high, but I'm going to get in and get out. And that's sort of like we talk about having an out. So if I'm going to get faked out by a fake order, then I'm not going to sit there and average into it and hold it. It was because I saw that order flash at 8.10. The second it's gone, I'm still going to maintain getting out when 8.10 breaks. And if the stock flushes from here, that's fine. I'd rather lose the 15 cents and just sort of walk away with that smaller hit instead of leveraging in or averaging into something that I didn't really want at that particular price in that fashion. CALT, I did want at that price, so I am now back into that CALT. But this ADGI still has a potential of continuing its flush. But I actually got into the bulk of that because of that flash order. So I do have to lighten the load on that one. CALT, I said I would get in some in that quarter range. It just came back to 24.25. If it retests 25, I would add to this position off of 25, where we did like it a little bit better, but missed that breakdown like I mentioned.
We're going to say, what up, gang? Stop, because right here, AMC, thank you so much. Come again. I just cannot believe that we didn't take that bid down there, but whatever, man. Let's just take the profits. So we'll do that, and we'll come flying out here. The Wiz is in the building right now for AMC, man. That was a great stock for me yesterday on the long side. We have learned our lesson. Shout out to you guys there at Ape Nation. Like, I thought this got back. We got, like, some of these things back here, but I guess... like Brennan said, got to do everything around here. We'll go hot dogs right there. Get robbed to put. Like, I don't see the ape on here. It's my fault though, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to talk to Rob after and get some more programmed into here because I don't have a lot of the older ones that we used to have, but it doesn't matter. AMD, we did learn our lesson right here, guys. There's AMD. Boom. We took it out last time it came up here to 30s. We talked about that. We took it out, and now it's just bouncing around. I still like it. I still really like this name, especially if we can get going. We're very, very close to maybe finding a bottom here in the NASDAQ. We've been holding out on SoFi. We've been holding out on AMC. We've been holding out on AMD as well. So those names continue to work for me, but who knows for how long. We're going to have to wait to see where we go now. I'm still thinking upside on this. Let's check out Facebook again here, possibly new trade alert. Thank you to whoever brought that. I think it was Mark, the realtor, brought us this name, and what a great call that was, man. You were down here at 338. Mark. So that was a great call. Now you're up to 3. I don't know if you're talking about short or long at that point, but Facebook, I mean, it was just...
Holy crap.
I mean, yeah, that's good. The market's bounced. Yeah. So it's a nice pullback here for Facebook. I don't really have any key levels on this name. It's just, to me, it's still a little bit choppy up here. Obviously, if we get into 330 again, I think that's a buy. But we are near, like, month highs right now, basically. Back up to 350. I mean, you can go all the way back to the 30th. We were at 340. Dipped down to 300 there. Wow. That was nuts, man. Like, you buy Facebook at $300. Like, this is another name. Anyways, you guys know I'm loaded up on Meta, loaded up on all these names. With that talk, let's go over to Roblox. Is there any names you guys want? Snacks holding up great. Ford.
I want to give an update. I'm covering all of that Pfizer trade off of 60. A lot of times when you're going counter trend in the stock, look, that was a big time reversal. The market's starting to bounce here. I had that target of around 59.25. So, I'm going to stick to it. Plays off of even dollar levels like this. A lot of times I like to have relatively conservative targets because that's the nature of the play. Like, this wasn't a level on the daily chart that I'm like, oh, it's got congestion here. It's going to slow down and pull back and reverse for the rest of the day. It is $60 and it just went $2 and it went positive to negative on a stock which doesn't always put in moves like that. So you're just going in front of an obvious take profit level for other people. That's why I'm out shy of VWAP, which a lot of times I would hold it to a level like that. Here's the thing about that ADGI. Like I said immediately, like I thought it might be making a bit of a top, right? And then we saw that nonsense size I saw that nonsense size that showed up at $8.10 and decided I needed to take more shares. And the second it broke that level and that was a fake offer, I just got out of the extra shares that I took and took the hit. And what's going to happen is now it's going to come down and be a winning trade, but that's fine. I'd still rather have the less amount of the position for the winner because my reason for adding to it was just a size order. I had no other reason for adding to that position other than I saw a big seller. So when that seller is gone, I'm just going to cover. And if the position is right, and it continues down to 750, you have to be able to live with that, which I will here. It's probably going to now flush to VWAP. It is what it is. I won't have the full thing on because I got faked out by that size order, and there's nothing else to it. It does happen in the market from time to time. You can't just sort of sit there and say, oh, that order is real, that one's fake. You have to make a bit of a judgment call there. I thought it looked pretty real. It was moving the stock. It was left in there for a while, but obviously I got psyched out, and now it's going to sell. Anyways.
People hating on my Peloton long call, but Peloton today's working okay. It's back to 39.40. We could definitely have a quick look at that. And I mean, honestly, I'm not going to stop doing the sticky note. I'm just joking about that. Like every time I say that, people blow up the chat. But like, why do I not just wait for some of these levels that I'm giving to you guys? And I think part of it is because I get super excited to trade for you and get really, motivated and emotional about things. But here's SoFi, man, all the way back upside. Like I just wish that I would have been able to. Let's get some out here at 94, 95 if we can. I mean, we have enough shares to do that. So out here just sort of like licking, there it is, licking some, did I get those? Yeah, I did get those. Okay. Licking some wounds now on SoFi. It hasn't been a great trade, obviously, today, as we are still out of the money on this. But, we've brought our net all the way back to where we're now positive on the day. So, we did have some rough rides there with Palantir, but we've made some money, obviously. AMC, man. Bang! Continues to work on AMC. What was a roller coaster ride today now seems like a fun ride as AMC back up to the upside. Look at that trade right there. Out 25.50 on the sticky note. Sticky note remains supreme. We do have a sticky note graphic. I don't have it right now, but 24.50 we had down there, sticky note, guys. So there it is right there. It absolutely worked. That's $1 in the money off that note. So that's a good one. AMD, we're right back to these highs. Last time we were pissed off that we didn't get out near 50. So let's just put an offer right now and say forget about it. So there it is right now. Forget about it. So we get out right there, 33s now. And now we can hold the rest for this big move that we're expecting to the upside now on this name. So that's rallying so far today. So far, so good, man. AMC's been a monster for us. SoFi is trying to go. I like that. We've been trading a little bit of Ethereum here. Not much, as that's starting to rip to the high side right now as well. Crypto's going nuts. Palantir did find a base a little bit here. So we'll look at that again. And we wrote down 1870. So there it is, making moves to the upside. But here goes AMD right now, $1 in the money. Target area for my next out, honestly, 143.50. We're going to sit there and we're going to see if we can get another $1 bump here on AMD.
Just ADGI reloaded. We got that first target out, that 770 level. Going to get back in right here at $8. So we'll see if it can't take a quarter out of it again. It's making another push upside, but that was the biggest, pullback or capitulation, whatever you want to call it, that it's put in all session long. That's why I like reloading at this particular price. I pulled up that daily chart so you could see just how beaten up it was, and how many bag holders that there might be taking whatever profits they can on a bump. And when that does happen, you want to make sure that you're not left holding the bag if you get yourself a good entry price here. I think that was Brendan.
Just want to mention VIR Biotech. We were talking about it yesterday quickly on the EU COVID-19 vaccine approval. So they did end up getting that emergency use for their COVID-19 vaccine. So a nice bump, 8% here for VIR Biotech. Not really doing much, though. It tested higher, tested lower. We're back to 55. It's 10:30. Miss V is watching what's going on over in Europe. An hour to go over there. Miss V, what's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are up, reacting positively to Bank of England increasing its interest rates. EDF trading in Paris is down more than 15% after faults were found in one of its nuclear power stations. Back to you.
Yeah, crazy move this morning on that EDF, down huge. The market trying here. We're still up 0.3, guys.
All right. Boom. We're back. So again, It's just my nature. I said I would try to hold this AMD off to the races. We do notice that this level's here at 84 as we dig a little bit deeper, and this is what I mean about talking to you guys, trading at the same time and whatnot. We do notice that there's a level right there. We should have put an offer there, but we're there now at 80. So hopefully this can come back and continue, not come back, continue. Here it's coming back in now. Continue, I said, a move back to the upside here. So for AMD, we've done really well buying these dips. You notice there's no outs here. Like this was an out off of these buys. So that's why I'm saying, like, we're not even down today on AMD, even though we've been calling the long, and it's because we've been taking profits when it's come to the upside. So that's part of what we're doing now, and we got to change sometimes. Sometimes you got to change sort of the way you've been trading to adjust for what the market's doing. So here we go, man. Nice bottom here. I feel like we might have made there at 16,000. Remember we talked about, I mean, how many times, and again, we're going to be trading with Arun next week, but I've called the 16,000 as a couple key levels. It was key yesterday when we ripped through it, and now today it bouncing off 16.1. So we'll see. There might be some more downside to test that 16,000 on the NASDAQ, which is why we did get some out there on SoFi when it started to pop up. That's AMD. Hold on a second. That's still AMD. Meant to show you guys SoFi. When SoFi did pop up here to VWAP, and again, you know, those are not a winning trade on SoFi. But when you've come all the way back from 1460 up to 1490, 15 almost, and that's where VWAP is. Those are some decent out spots right there. So hopefully we get another chance to get some more out here on SoFi. If it comes back in, you can see the trend has not been our friend. It is to the downside. But again, you know, it's my largest position because we've averaged in and we believed on that 1580 right here. So sorry, 1480. I wish it was 1580 right there. So we defend that level. It does dip down. We have a 50 print coming through, so we'll see if that can hold. But right now, SoFi looking a little sick here. As the market goes down, you see SoFi has no problem falling. So, you know, we need a very, very aggressive market to make this long cash out. So hopefully we get back into the 90s again and we'll dump a little bit more of our SoFi because it's very, very weak. Any down print, SoFi definitely executing lower.
Yeah, and speaking of lower, I'm still in that iron end. I'm not going to, like I said, I might be in that stock all day long, and I think that's fine. But this ADGI, it just bounced off of this 785 bid, which I was trying to get first target out again after reloading this position at a better price at $8. But it's showing some signs of catching a bit of a bid here. And the last thing I want is it making a full run to the high of the day, and I'm stuck short at 8 even. So I'm going to go with a tighter stop up here so that if it makes a failed break at 835 and can't get through 850, I could then get a better price short, something along the 835 to 840 range. Now, I'm making that decision while it's sort of calm and not out of the money for me so that when it breaks higher, I'm not having to, you know, sort of rush to that decision point. So, you know, this ADGI could go, it could take out this 10 to 15 area, and then I got to get up. I already know what I want to do here. Whoops. Oh, I didn't want to go long. Why did I have two stores? And again, so that was a case of I actually already had a stop order that I'm like, oh, I forgot I had a stop. Manually got out of it at exactly the same time. So you'll see me get accidentally long. What do I do with that accidental long? Immediately cover it. If you don't want a position, just get out. It doesn't matter what it wants to do, but I wanted to take that out in case it goes up to that high of the day at 835, and if it does, then I can get that failure. If it ends up working right away and I got shaken out of that trade again, like I said, I got to be able to live with it. That CALT, I was able to get a reload on that stock while I think Sean was talking there at 24.50 or so. My price now 24.32. It's not perfect. I would much rather have had the breakdown at 25 even. We have missed it, but I think this is one that we could be in for the longer haul. Just to give an idea, this is the daily chart here. So at this particular price, you're now into this chop range. My first target around that 23, and then I'm looking for this 23 to 20 area to be covering the position. This is on the daily, by the way, to be covering this position in that 20 to 23 area. Obviously, 23 the first stop along the way down to 20. Does it give everything down to 20? I'm not going to sit here and be able to predict it makes that kind of a move. That's why I'll be covering at each one of those key levels. I'll cover in front of 23, then 22, and then 21 on the way down here. But the key point is when it took out that 25, I believe that it could be a short for the rest of the day. And speaking of shorts, I'm not in Tesla, but alert to that. It's been barcoding 295 to about, sorry, 955, 295. 955 to 965. It's now headed right back down towards that low. So I'd be a little bit careful with your Tesla longs. The market's trying to bounce here, and Tesla did not get very far. You might actually see that 950. And I would have liked it if it bounced off 950 initially, but it bounced 955. That's not the way I would like to take a 950 long. Count me out for a 950 long Tesla. I'm holding on to my 2 shorts. I'm going to ride these 2 out.
All right. Yeah, we'll hit the siren alert again because there it is, man. We got out there 70s on AMD, so it's a $1.30 win there for us on AMD. So again, I told you we're switching up the game a little bit here. We want to take one last piece out, and now we can wait for VWAP. So we turned into a scalping machine here on AMD. Buy these 141s. I mean, these are all dollars, right? This is why I'm saying to you that we're not even down that much on AMD despite that play here, and why you can make money by actually, we're up. We're basically flat on AMD, but as it continues to ride to the upside here, you can see what's been happening. So hopefully this can continue to take higher as we're making higher lows here on this. Only a 1 minute chart, so normally you don't look at higher lows for 1 minute, but you can see the trend starting to come to the upside right now for us here on AMD. So let's hold out and see if we do get some of those miracles on the upside here for that play. So far, so good. AMD triple 70 cents hit back to back. Yeah, exactly. So here we go. So this is what I'm talking about. And I'm glad that Jake, you sort of not realize. I know a lot of people on this chat realize that, but that's what it's all about, right? Back to back. Like, you just keep hitting those back to back jacks and eventually setting up for round 4. Yo, what up, Jake? Yeah, it looks like it is. I don't know. I still think we've been dancing with the devil here. This market I still wonder if we could test 16,000. But I'm still hoping. I was waiting at 93 here. It went to 91. This is okay, whatever. Let's just hopefully this pops up. Man, what a frustrating day for me on the exact prices I'm putting in. Like, I'm missing by a couple pennies. Look at Solana. So we'll hit their alarm for this one again. Up 17% in 24 hours. Our last buy on this was 161 on that name. We've been talking about buying a lot of these names on the dip. Cardano's not really doing much. Up 7%. Avalanche was a new name that we added to this board. And then one of the names that, again, we've really, really liked was been Matic as that's been dipping around. Still negative on 24 hours here. Most of these, 7 days, most of them still pretty negative. But you see the 24-hour moves here. It looks like crypto's starting to bounce back upside a little bit. So that's good for all of our portfolios. That's for sure. So just a quick little crypto minute there as we try to update some of the positions that I know that a lot of you guys have here in the crypto market base. And let's look at coin quickly here. As I always get reminded, 254. I can't believe I sold this name $100 ago. Now giving us another opportunity to get back in. I don't want to get back in here. Honestly, I don't really like Coinbase at these levels. I'm going to talk about this with Kevin O'Leary when he comes through. And I'm just going to agree with everything he says because he's Kevin O'Leary. But I'll have some comebacks for this one. So we'll wait to see where Coinbase goes. Pretty low right now, guys, for Coinbase. You do have a 245 bottom. I'd rather wait until even 240, 230 before we buy more coin. Anything you want to talk about before we go to Brendan?
I was asked about KXIN a couple of times. The only reason I didn't reverse at 170 is because I don't know where I put my out. Like, I think I like the momentum above that price. That's why I shorted in front and took profit shallow and then got right out. And it's held support at 170. But I don't want to sit there with a stop, like long at 172 with a stop at 170. That's where I'd be putting it right now. So I like the momentum to the upside that it has at that price. I just don't know where I'd be wrong, and that precludes me from getting in to what I think looks like a decent reversal. But we got to get you guys to Brennan because some interesting things on that sector watch board there. One I didn't even realize, and now I got to take a look at.
Guys, yeah, positive. That's the good part. Not a huge move, but 0.18 still for the overall S&P. All about tech stocks. A few individual movers to note. That's Adobe leading the way for the software makers. 8% now, almost 9 in fact, to the downside for Adobe today. All of the chip makers here back to the downside after, huge moves to end the day in this entire group yesterday. So some profit taking coming back into some of the chip makers there. But that's the way the rest of the tech sector is shaping up. Apple telling the story as well, almost 2% to the downside for Apple today. One we mentioned earlier, Amgen, 4.6%. OGN, that's not OCGN, not on this board, but OGN up 3%. Healthcare stocks are positive today. So are the industrials. I wanted to mention Lennar here in the consumer discretionary. So that was an earnings report, halved their pre-market move. So it was down 0.6, now 0.3 for Lennar. Targets here, Etsy, BBWI, just TJX, Dollar Tree to name a few. Some of the retailers under pressure as well. Energy is strong. Materials are strong. Back to the upside. Communication services as well, all in positive territory. That's AT&T having quite the day, 6.5% off of that upgrade, guys. So 0.14 right now for the S&P. Back over to you.
Yeah, we're getting tested at 950. I'm not taking that bid anymore, like we said, but it was Target in the middle of that board that I'm kicking myself over, because when we saw Lennar report last night and get beat up for a little bit, you saw Target and Lowe's to the downside, down 3%, breaking that 200 period moving average. This is getting right in that target zone where I'm going to be on the bid. Put a little stink bid in here after the show was done in front of like 225 or so, because I just like the value here. I think if you're betting on the consumer, I already have enough of Walmart, but Target is one that I wanted to be able to add a few shares. So I like what you're going to be able to get here, so I'm going to put a little bit of a nibble. This is why we do sector watch ultimately, so that you have the opportunity to maybe see some names that you have moved a little bit more than you would have realized. And I sort of didn't realize Target was down quite so much, breaking back below that 200 period moving average. But I like that 220 to 225 support. Going to have my stink bid in. I want to go back to this CALT. That's still a daily chart. That's, I'm like, why? It's not moving that much. It did retest that low of the day at 23.70. I understand that's a 60-cent win if I take it, but I'm looking for bigger moves here. Like, my first bid is still going to be in front of 23 even, so I'm not really trying to scalp trade this. I'm really looking for a bigger swing. It's not really a swing, obviously, it's still a day trade, but I'm looking for a bigger move and retracement on CALT. That's why we're holding out hope that it actually gives it to you. Pfizer, it looks like we could have given that to 59. I came all the way into VWAP. My target was that quarter mark. If it comes up back to 60, I might take a smaller position and try for a smaller trade back to the short side, but that could be now set up for a 60 break. If the market gets going again and Pfizer deems fit to have held VWAP and then try and take out the high of the day, I'm not going to stand in the face of it. Usually the first time it tests that level and pulls back is the best time when you're talking about a short in front of an even dollar level like 60 on Pfizer.
Yeah, I don't know. Pfizer's a great short at that 60 level. That was a great call. AMC right now continues to march back down, so that's good. Good thing we took this out. You can see buy here, out, buy, averaging, out, out, out. So AMC today is going to be a nice one. Feeling like Superman on that stock, not feeling like that on some others. So right now we'll go diamond hands for AMC, and we do want to get some more shares in on that, so we'll wait to see if that's going to come through right now. But for now, SoFi is really the only stock that I'm concerned about. We've averaged in. It's one of my big positions now, SoFi. So, hopefully we can bounce off some of these levels. I'm a little bit concerned about the NASDAQ here. Lucid back to 41. You know what I haven't looked at?
I was about to pop the chart because this
I haven't looked at Rivian yet.
We talk about entries and exits, and I was going to tweet this one out, but I'll tell you guys first. But we talk about entries and exits and ideas, and look, the short the fade, the short the pop on Lucid might have been a good concept, but my execution to get out at 42 was wrong, and I'll show you why I could have possibly improved on that thesis. The last time we were up at that price, if you pull back far enough and go to the 9th, it had a failed break where it took out 42, got to 43, and then rejected there. So again, you get the takeout of 42, failed to get to 43, and that's what happened. I go with the tight stop instead of giving it a little bit more breadth, which in this particular market, if you have to choose between the two, smaller position, give it more room around a price area, and tighter on a stock like Lucid, you probably want to go with the smaller position and give it more room. I didn't. That's a losing trade for me on Lucid, where the concept was right, but you still have to execute. Execution's everything.
Yeah, execution. I mean, that goes without saying. I think, you got to, no matter what the ideas you have, and we talked about me getting into early to a few plays and whatnot, and I think it is all about execution, right? If you don't execute, you are going to pay the piper on a lot of these plays. So we are getting ready for our guest of the day. We're very, very excited to bring you another great company, so that's going to be exciting. Facebook, what a great call that was, guys, for Facebook, man. Shout out to Mark, the realtor. He just continues to kill it there on that call. I forget the other name that you gave us. Was it Roku or something? I can't remember. But anyways, Facebook right now back up to some days high. Great call on that one. The market, the market fading out here, and not Roku, and Facebook just back to highs. So a good trade there, and thank you for that. That was a great call, Mark, the realtor. So that was a good call there. I keep saying that because you did give a nice super chat, so thank you for that. Palantir starting to fall back down. You know what's an interesting name here that's not really working, and I'm surprised it's not working today, is Roblox. Roblox yesterday had a big move off of the 2 p.m. number here. You could see what happened. A nice move up from 94 all the way to 97. But look at it get faded in the rest of the day. And then at 3 p.m., we get that pop to 100. When we got that pop to 100 there and then opened up above 100, I really thought we would hold that level. But you can see what's happened today. Roblox continuing to make bottoms here. So yikes. Hopefully that can find a bottom here. And I like it at 96. So take that for what it's worth. I like Roblox at 96. But for now, Brendan at the big desk with our guest of the day. Take it, Brendo.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, CoinSmart joining us today, the only Canadian-listed, globally focused crypto trading platform that covers a bunch of assets. We're happy to have Justin Hartzman, CEO, in studio. I get very excited when people actually come in studio. I was explaining to Justin before we came on, it's been so long because of the pandemic since we've had the ability to have people in studio. It's great to have you. Welcome, first of all. Tell us about this concept to start things off, because it's a little bit different than anything else offered in the space currently, specifically in Canada, but great idea.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It is nice to be in studio. It's a beautiful place here. Thanks for having us. Yeah, at the end of the day, we're the only crypto asset trading platform in the world, dual listed here in Canada and Frankfurt, that is fully registered not only in Canada as a restricted dealer, but also in Europe through the FIU and working on multiple other jurisdictions right now. So really excited to help bring our product, ease of use, customer experience to the mass market. That's really what we're trying to do.
And you explained it to me when we spoke the other day as making crypto accessible.
That's exactly right.
Tell us what that means for the company.
Well, I think it came a little bit at the beginning of my own greed when I got into the crypto market really early on, and supply and demand. The more people we have coming in wanting to buy the asset, right, the higher the price goes over time. And just this week we hit that 90% threshold of Bitcoin being mined. Wow. So we're really getting to that supply and demand crux, and we'll see where we'll go from here. But the idea for us is to help bring the crypto curious into the market, educate them by giving them the proper resources, and then helping them become an active community member or trader in the market, which is a great customer for us, and building the ecosystem at the same time. So ease of use, customer experience is key for us, and providing good products and services that they might need and want.
And such a key for this type of a product. Let's talk about some of the features here. Give the audience kind of an idea of what they can expect if they're looking to use the platform, and maybe how it would stand out over some of the competitors.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I want to talk about our amazing customer experience. Our team is there. We're there for you beforehand if you're thinking about it, while you want to put your first dollars in, while you want to make your first trade, any issues you might have. So live chat, omni support, 24/7 across every channel that you can think of. So that's a key aspect. But then we employ cool products like Smart Trade, which if you're getting into the market, you might not understand that you have to use Ethereum to buy X or X to buy Y. So what we've created is Smart Trade, unlike anywhere else in the world, where you can come in and go from any fiat currency to any cryptocurrency, or any crypto to any crypto. We do all the transactions in the background for you at one fee, and get it done for you in 3 clicks. So it's really a simple process. We want to ensure we make it accessible to everybody.
So SMRT, I love the ticker, on the NEO exchange here in Toronto. Why was now, recent IPO anyways, why was now the time to go public?
Well, I think as we see the market maturing and regulation coming into effect, not only here in Canada in a significant way, but worldwide as well, we felt this is a great opportunity for us to start helping to consolidate the market and bring great products to many people. And we can do that by raising the right amount of capital, getting it to the market, and really telling our story out there today, doing it in a completely different way. We're in a sandbox of what we can offer here in Canada, but really by us expanding to multiple jurisdictions and having multiple licenses allows us to offer different products in different areas of the world, and really making that accessible to everyone and bringing those crypto curious into the market.
As so many are still. Give us your take on what to expect going into the new year, both maybe in the markets if you want to, and also from CoinSmart.
Yeah, well, I think we're in an interesting cycle right now in cryptocurrency. I think we're in the middle of a very important super cycle that we're going through right now. We see a lot of institutions coming in. We see a lot of things in the NFT metaverse world. We see governments getting involved and talking here in Canada or across the world, US and worldwide. I think we're lining ourselves up for an exciting 2022 without question. And for us, we're just all about expansion right now, moving into new jurisdictions, new product offerings, and ensuring that we constantly give the best customer experience across the board to everyone. That's the key focus for us.
CoinSmart, guys, check them out. SMRT, as I mentioned, the ticker listed here in Toronto on the NEO Exchange. Justin Hartzman, CEO of CoinSmart. A pleasure.
Thank you very much. Appreciate having me.
Thanks for doing this. Here we go, guys. CoinSmart.
Come on,
you ready?
Raheem, what are you doing? Get back.
What did he do?
I told him, I was like, here we go, Raheem, we're coming back on now. And then he's like standing there.
I just realized that I was still live.
Raheem Alani,
You're
OCI
on
Group.
camera all the
so
time.
I had to make a second appearance today. One wasn't enough.
You don't have a mic, so they're not going to hear you. All right, thank you, Raheem. Great to see you again, my friend.
And thank you, Justin, for coming through. You know, I'll tell you what's really cool. It's
Great
like,
interview.
It's been a while. We get guests and interviews online. It's so much more fun in the studio. So thank you so much, Justin, for coming through. We'll fist bump it right there. And I love every company with a cool ticker symbol because every single trader prefers something that makes sense. So keep it smart.
You know what that reminds me of? SMRT. I am so smart. So a little bit of Homer Simpson there. And we're not making fun of it.
We need a Homer Simpson key.
Yeah, well, I need a Simpsons key right here.
need a
But
Simpsons,
and I got to thank Raheem for that one because he reminded me to do that. So we'll backflip there. We love the Simpsons around here. And what else do we love, man? We put on, and unfortunately, we had to let the interview go there, and it was a great one. But I put on the largest position of AMD I had all day there, and we doubled it up there. We got punched out, and I was just like, this is stupid. And we put it right back on. And honestly, man, we have just been clocking this one all the way to the upside. Out. Like we just took some 142s there. We're out now of 50% of this position. Let's see if now if it turns around on me, man, then it does. We've made a lot back there. We are going to give this one to the bottom. I'll probably take one more piece out. I got to do the math, sit here and figure that out. But it's a good trade. Here we go. Yeah, let's go AMD. I really think that the NASDAQ has just flushed out some people. I believe the market goes higher from here. So we're still in our SoFi. We're in our AMC for 30 cents. We're in AMD right now for 70 cents now. And then we're still in SoFi for a minus 25 center. But I'm going to take one more piece off here in case that NASDAQ doesn't want to go.
So someone asked if we liked small caps or big caps more earlier. And I'll say this, like I said, trade your setups. And a lot of times, like one of the reasons why I put some of these trades on more aptly in a small cap or a cheaper stock is because like Shopify set up almost perfectly. I mean, not almost perfect. It's set up literally perfectly for a fade trade. 14.20 here in the New York, if you traded in New York. It just failed at the open at that price, took out the 1400 level clean. But sometimes psychologically you have to get yourself past the fact that you're essentially either getting 10s here or you're shorting 1400 and giving it $20, maybe even $25 to $30 worth of gross. And that's one of those things. It's a lot easier psychologically to put on the same trade on a small cap where you're giving up 10 to 15 cents or 20 cents when ultimately, percentage-wise, it could be the same or even a bigger move, and it can be harder to do so on a stock which has a monster spread at the open like a Shopify, but it's on the move. I talked about not liking Tesla at 950 because when you're looking to make the dip buy, either you have the level right and you go for it or you don't, and when it consolidated, it wasn't at 950, it was at 955, so I didn't want it at 950. It chewed through 950. Now it's holding below that particular price. Like I said, I'm going to ride with the two shorts that we have on. Someone mentioned that if I had held on to the accidental long on ADGI, it would have been a winner. Yeah, you're right. It's now halted up at that $10 range, but guess what? If you have a rule, you follow the rule. That was my stop out level, so I intended to cut the short when it got to that price, which sometimes makes for a good reversal, but I didn't intend to reverse long. So it's going to look obviously embarrassing for that execution. But guess what? If it goes downside, I'm holding that long to 750 and losing $1, well, that looks to me even more stupid because I never intended to actually reverse. I only intended to cover the short at that price. It is a volatility halt, so it should be open up in a couple of minutes. But it looks like this is a big time runner, ADGI. Just try to keep in mind where this has come from. Still lots of room on that gap to get filled. And it's right into where I think that resistance would come in.
I think that was a short seller report, wasn't it?
It was the short seller. I forget which short seller. It maybe was Hindenburg. I have no idea. Like they're all the same. Except for Citron because they're now long.
After getting roasted
what do you even
so
call
many
that?
times.
What do you call that? So long or?
I mean, roasted. I mean, just a buy side firm, I guess.
Buy side firm. Yeah,
but the thing is that well, I mean, not real. Well, whatever. Who cares? But the point is that Citron, I remember when they called NEO below 30, I know, and then it went to like $70 or something like that. Yeah, Andrew left from Citron. Look, smart guy. All these guys, smart guys, but some of their ideas don't work, just like some of our ideas work. But, there's one person whose ideas always work, and that's Brendan. What up?
Yes.
Don't lie, Sean. Not true. Adagio Therapeutics got a price target cut today from Jefferies. But remember, guys, I think it was last week, there was data on an Omicron specific treatment that wasn't good for them. There are some earnings. We jumped the gun a little bit with Rivian yesterday, but Rivian, I promise, will be tonight, along with these two.
Actually, those are actually three interesting names because they're all in different spots, right? I mean, you have the consumer down there with Darden, you have FedEx shipping for holiday season, and then you have Rivian, or who knows what the hell is going on with them. We'll see if they have an announcement or anything to make about future deliveries and how they are on all that. We know the R1T hot fire there. That's truck of the year.
Which
how is it even truck? I can't believe that the car of the year is one that basically nobody has, and the truck of the year is one that literally nobody has. Actually, our R1T.
Here's the thing. When you look
be
it
on
up,
the road, actually.
If you look at the names that it was up against, like it was not up against the Silverado or the electrified F-150. So it was like, its competition was, so it's not really to the market yet, and this competition wasn't the real things it's going to be up against in the next couple of years.
That's
so
what it is, okay.
I take it with a grain of salt. Two things. One, indicated open price on ADGI is, I'm seeing a tap of 10.29, which is exactly where it halted. So it's indicating it's going to open up flat in 1 minute. That can always change in the final minute. And I got to say, and I'm not calling one out, but I can't pronounce the name. Is it ANZ? ANZE here. It says, why are you ignoring me? If you put something in the chat, I can't find it. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. The chat's moving and we're trading here, and it's not going to interrupt the interview, but I'm not sure where it is that I'm ignoring you. Please let me know. Or like if it's a DM on Twitter, it's hard to get to all of them. I do my best. But if that's it, I'll try to find it there. We try not to ignore anybody to the best of our abilities. I'm still seeing opening flats on this ADGI here. And it is now time, with only 2 minutes to go before we head to the market movers, to find out what national day it is. Ms. V.
Thank you, Neil, and hey guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for 2,000 likes. Your support means so much to us. And as Neil said, please join Prad and me to continue trading this day. And happy National Chocolate Covered Anything Day.
Chocolate covered what? I can't see that.
My wife bought me
anything day.
My wife was downtown actually because she works from home most of the time. And guess what she picked up? I love chocolate covered almonds and I never get chocolate covered raisins. Right. She comes home with like a box of chocolate covered raisins. Like, I was thinking of you when I got these. And I'm like, you gotta marry somebody that knows you well. She knows what to do. Raisinets, but it wasn't Raisinets. It was like a different brand. But whatever.
It was like the knockoff brand.
Chocolate covered anything. Almonds and raisins are absolutely delicious. Good thing I didn't go long. Tesla 950. It's now at 940. Robinhood and Tesla are going to be the ones that I regret the most. Probably more Robinhood because that's a name that I was randomly picking on this morning before we came on air. No regrets, though. You can't have
no regrets, man. Okay.
It's a good movie, man.
Yeah, it is. So we'll wait to see here what Rivian does today. I mean, I still think that you may test some of these lows on a negative Nancy report. So we'll see if that can come through. We're still loving our AMC, our AMDs, trade stocks with A's in them, I guess, today. And it has been a good one. There was something I want to talk about before we went, and that is that if you haven't had an opportunity yet to hit the like button, I mean, it's 2K, it's great, but I still think we could get a little bit more. There's 5,000 watching. If 3,000 of you could hit that, because I assume the other two have, and that would be great. If you haven't done that yet, please hit the like button. We're going to throw you over now to Market Movers. So, I mean, that's going to be with Trader Pratt and Miss V. They're going to absolutely kill it like they usually do. So watch out for crypto. We're going to be back at 2 p.m. And hopefully ADGI will open to a good number for you guys. And we'll just see you there. 11:18, I guess, ADGI. Let me call it up right now because I think it did open, right? Yeah, there it is right now. So, yeah, 1070 right now and bumping around ADGI. So a nice mover today to the upside, but just did open up. And you know what, Neil? There's somebody that's definitely going to be covering that. Do you know who this is going to be?
It might be Trader Pratt.
It might be. So why don't we throw it?
Yeah, let's go to Trader Pratt and Ms. V for your Market Movers.
Welcome to Market Movers. I'm your host, Trader Pride. This is the beautiful Miss V.
Hey guys, welcome back everyone. As usual, be active on the chat, ask us anything, and smash the like button. Me and Prad really want to get more than 1,000 likes again today. How's it going, Prad?
Absolutely.